Chapter 41, Iron-Eating Beasts Lightning Training Roads. Chapter 41, Iron-Eating Beasts Lightning Training Roads. Oh, number 1 in the rankings has finally changed. In the main monitoring room, the 5 professional beast tamers were enjoying the air conditioner and started commenting on the real-time points. They weren't directly responsible for the security work. Generally speaking, the security company's personnel were still in charge of rescuing the candidates. I think they hunted 5 long-thorn wild boars. Good Lord, they look like a rather energetic combination of beast tamers and pets. With just a slight evaluation, they changed the topic. They didn't pay too much attention to this change. After all, only a few hours had passed, and it was still a long way before the end of the assessment. Professional beast tamers were undoubtedly beast tamers who had transcendent pets. However, those security personnel who had yet to pass the vocation assessment might not necessarily have transcendent battle power. The beast tamer's beast taming space, upon reaching level 2, will result in the spatial crystal wall turned from colorless to gray. The pet's growth level would also have reached transcendent level. This was the basic condition for participating in the vocation assessment. And the so-called professional beast tamer were elite selected from thousands of beast tamers who had fulfilled this requirement. They had to have theoretical knowledge, survival skills in the wild, and combat ability. They had to be very outstanding in all aspects. Therefore, these beast tamers who were qualified to participate in the vocation assessment but didn't pass it didn't necessarily mean they were as lousy as most beast tamer trainees. Compared to them, the title of quasi-class beast tamer was more suitable for the assessment qualifiers. For example, Yang Qi, one of the security personnel this time, was a quasi-professional beast tamer. His level was enough, and his pet level was also enough, but he just didn't pass the vocation assessment and couldn't sweep up others. That was why he didn't get that certificate. Yang Qi was a native of Pingcheng. His initial pet was an iron-eating beast. He had entered the iron-eating beast's base, Bamboo Stone Dojo, to learn. Therefore, he understood the iron-eating beast pretty well. From the first moment he saw Shiyu's iron-eating beast's performance through the surveillance cameras, he realized that Shiyu and 11 weren't simple. After staying in the iron-eating beast's headquarters Bamboo Stone Dojo for so long, he had never seen an iron-eating beast that mastered expert-level hardening when it was still a cub. This was ridiculous. After all, his iron-eating beast was already at the transcendent level. It had been cultivated for 5 to 6 years. The current hardening proficiency level had only just reached the expert level. In short, Shiyu was definitely not simple. Out of curiosity, when he changed shifts to rest, he used his private cell phone to call Bamboo Stone Dojo and found Hall Master Lin, who was a disciple in the dojo. "Master Lin, do you remember me? I'm Little Qi, that Yang Qi with the nickname Little Bear." The other side of the phone said that Little Bear Yang Qi, who participated in the 2-year vocation assessment, hasn't passed and went to work at a security company. It hurt. Yang Qi smiled bitterly. "Sorry, I've embarrassed our Bamboo Stone Dojo. Master Lin, I'm currently in charge of security at the training base of Mount Tuanmang. I encountered a very interesting beast tamer. His iron-eating beast is only about 2 years old, but it has mastered expert-level hardening. It's so ridiculous. Isn't this our Bamboo Stone Dojo's new junior brother? I really don't have any impression of him, nor have I heard of him before, so I came over to ask you. By the way, his name is Shiyu." Inside the Bamboo Stone Dojo, in a very elegant room with mountains and rivers, a middle-aged man with a meticulous expression fell silent. An iron-eating beast about 2 years old, expert level in hardening? Was this Yang Qi sure that he wasn't kidding? How was this possible? It could be said that all the iron-eating beasts in the entire Icefield city were from the Iron Bamboo breeding base. If there were such a talented iron-eating beast, it was impossible for him not to know. What did you say his name was? Shiyu. His name is Shiyu. Shiyu. It's him? Lin Hongnian recalled that a few days ago, Dr. Liu from the ancient capital university came to visit him at Bamboo Stone Dojo. The other party seemed to be saying that she had entrusted him to help nurture a distant relative. That relative was called Shiyu? Because Shiyu's initial pet was an iron-eating beast, she had found him. Moreover, she even used a high-level resource obtained from the ruins as a reward. Towards this Shiyu, Lin Hongnian also investigated the situation of the pet collection in the iron bamboo breeding base. The result of the investigation was that Shiyu's information was very ordinary. The pets were all bought with loans. He was a native of Pingcheng. He had no idea how Shiyu was related to Lu Qingyi, who was considered a proud daughter of heaven in the country. However, he couldn't not sell Dr. Lu a favor, not to mention that the other party had also given him a sufficiently precious reward. This Shiyu, the iron-eating beast he received, is clearly only a year old. Moreover, the time he received the iron-eating beast didn't exceed a month, right? Expert-level hardening? Lin Hongnian discovered the blind spot and his expression became serious. Did Dr. Lu help him nurture it using a special method? Otherwise, Lin Hongnian couldn't imagine how a beast trainer could cultivate the racial skills of an iron-eating beast cub to expert level in such a short period of time. Perhaps Lu Qingyi had given Shiyu some rare cultivation resources. Master Lin, realizing that there was no sound for a long time, Yang Qi spoke again. Yang Qi, you mean that Shiyu is training at Mount Tuanmang, right? Yeah. Yes, I understand. You do? So is he really an apprentice of our Bamboo Stone Dojo? Lin Hongnian said, not yet, maybe later. By the way, since his iron-eating beast's hardening has reached the expert level and he is also coincidentally at Mount Tuanmang with you there. Guide him to the magnetic mountain area. Let him mainly train there, even if it's to lay the foundation for him to learn dojo skills in advance. Who? Yang Qi had yet to react. Damn it, what was going on? He hadn't even entered the sect, and he was already teaching the unique skills of the dojo? He was so jealous. At the safe area, Shiyu finished his hot instant noodles and ate 2 ham sausages. Only then was he barely not hungry. After preparing to rest for a while, he went straight to the magnetic mountain area to find the electric slime to play with. As for the 5 long-thorn wild boars, there was finally no need to continue dragging them. It was fine to leave them here. Shiyu. While Shiyu was quietly resting in the corner of the straw shed, the security guard who was in charge of registering his points came over again. What's wrong? Shiyu opened his eyes and turned to look at him. Yang Qi chuckled and said, it's nothing. Let's get to know each other. I'm Yang Qi. Are you still planning to continue hunting in the afternoon? Shiyu nodded. Then I suggest going to your magnetic mountain area. There's electric ore there. It's considered a level 1 energy iron ore resource, one of the recipes for iron-eating beasts. Electric iron ore? Shiyu recalled. This did indeed seem to be a recommended food in the iron-eating beast cultivation manual, but the recommendation priority was not very high. Compared to the iron bamboo, it was not very useful for hardening skills and its own growth. At most, it could be said to just fill one's belly. Come with me. Yang Qi called for Shiyu and planned to talk in a relatively empty place. What does this person want? Shiyu was stunned. He followed and decided to see what this security guard was up to. I'm actually an apprentice of Bamboo Stone Dojo. My initial pet is also an iron-eating beast. By the way, do you know what the 2 great mysteries of Bamboo Stone Dojo are? After leaving the straw shed, Yang Qi said. I remember that it's a skill called Thunder Palm and a skill called Cannon Fist, right? Shiyu recalled. So this guy was an apprentice from Bamboo Stone Dojo. No wonder he was so interested in him and the iron-eating beast. The iron-eating beasts taught by the Bamboo Stone Dojo were famous for their ability to control fire and lightning. Their unique skills were the Thunder Palm and Cannon Fist. Of course, Shiyu knew this. After all, he still had to go to the dojo to learn later. Well, it's the Thunder Palm and Cannon Fist. With special cultivation methods, there's a chance that the iron-eating beast can awaken the ability to control fire and lightning. For example, if you want to control lightning, one of the basics is for the iron-eating beast to eat some metal minerals with the nature of electricity, like electrical minerals. Why are you telling me this? If a pet wanted to master skills other than species, it had to undergo targeted cultivation. Food was a very important part of it, and Shiyu knew this. However, just eating electric ore was definitely not enough. Otherwise, this would not have become the unique skill manual of the Bamboo Stone Dojo. Even if the evolution method wasn't as complicated as the green silkworm to the goddess of light butterfly, it was impossible for only one food to be enough. I heard from Master Lin of Bamboo Stone Dojo that you might be going to the dojo to learn later, so I greeted you in advance. The minimum requirement to eat an electric ore is for the iron-eating beast's hardening to reach the expert level. Your iron-eating beast's hardening has already reached the expert level. It definitely won't be a problem to perfectly absorb the nutrition of the electric ore. If you plan to enter Bamboo Stone Dojo to learn in the future, the most suitable training environment for you at Mount Tuanmang is actually the Magnetic Mountain area. There are many electrical ores there, and many thunder element creatures. Eating electric ores and letting the body constantly receive lightning attacks is actually the basic training to master the Thunder Palm. I think you can come into contact with it in advance. Skill, Thunder Palm. Skill level, Intermediate. Introduction, it's a thunder-type skill. It gathers high-intensity electricity in the palm, making the palm like a sharp blade with strong penetration power. It has a paralyzing effect. Yang Qi said with a smile, but he sighed in his heart. This was because his iron-eating beast was already at the transcendent level and had yet to successfully master the Thunder Palm. It could only have a tiny electric current lingering around its palm, unable to form a skill at all. If he could master the Thunder Palm, he would have long passed the vocation assessment. The Thunder Palm alone was already powerful. If it was a combination skill of hardening and Thunder Palm, that power was something Yang Qi looked forward to. Is that so? Thank you. Shiyu did not expect that before he even went to visit Bamboo Stone Dojo, there would already be apprentices from the dojo who knew him. Was this the first lesson that Hall Master Lin had taught him? Initially, he had planned to go to the Magnetic Mountain area to replicate the multiplication skill. Now, it seemed that there were other reasons why he had to go. When it came to food, Shiyu felt that the electric ores in the Magnetic Mountain area no longer needed to be exchanged for points. If Eleven's combat and training intensity were too high, the ores would probably enter Eleven's stomach for the next 3 days. Chapter 42, Electric Ore. Chapter 42, Electric Ore. Yang Qi didn't chat with Shiyu for too long. After all, he still had work to do next. 11, I'll take you to eat good food. In the afternoon, Shiyu called 11 out of the beast-taming space. 11 was exhausted from the battle and travel in the morning. It had only slept and rested in the beast-taming space for a while before it was almost completely recovered. This was the power of the beast-taming space. On Shiyu's side, he rested a little and was rather energetic. With a new goal, Shiyu didn't want to delay any longer and planned to continue setting off with 11. Woo! In the outside world, 11's figure slowly appeared. When it heard the word eat, it subconsciously wiped its mouth with its arm. Due to the skill index, Shiyu's physique should be relatively outstanding among beast tamers of the same level. When he prepared to set off again, the other candidates, regardless of whether they arrived at the safe area first or later, were still resting. When these people saw Shiyu and the little iron-eating beast leave the safe area, they looked at each other. Didn't they just hunt 5 longthorn wild boars in the morning? He actually went to hunt again in the blink of an eye. Was his liver all right? If Chen Kai were here, he would definitely say, as expected of you guys, you're simply our role models. In the Magnetic Mountain area. This was actually a mountain covered by a special electromagnetic field. The special environment made many magnetic metals known as electric ore appear here. XZ. Electric ore was very dangerous. It would suddenly release electricity, but this kind of electricity was also a favorite snack for many thunder element creatures. The map in the booklet marked that the Magnetic Mountain area was one of the most dangerous areas of Mount Tuanmang. There were 10th level ferocious beasts living there. Moreover, most of them were Thunder Element ferocious beasts known for their skill, attack power, and destructive power. Apart from that, the special magnetic field here, although not very strong, was also not suitable for beast tamers with weak physiques to stay long. If too much time passed, it might have a certain impact on the beast tamer's liver and brain, causing the beast tamer to hallucinate. However, despite the danger, Shiyu still had to come. Compared to the ruins, this place was already very friendly, and it even produced food. That's the electric ore? With a clear target, Shiyu, 11, and the others avoided some ferocious beasts to avoid wasting unnecessary physical strength. They only spent half an hour on the road before arriving at the edge of the magnetic mountain area. At the border between the mountain and the ground, 11 quickly discovered a special blue and white mineral. It howled and reminded Shiyu. The electric ore was a prismatic mineral, sandwiching between the ground and the magnetic mountain like a protruding rock. Electricity shot out from time to time. From the surrounding black scorch marks, the current strength didn't seem to be low. In your hardened state, go break a piece to eat. Shiyu encouraged. Sigma, degree LLL, well. To be honest, 11 had never eaten electric ore before, just like how it had never eaten a green silkworm. Therefore, when it encountered such novel food, it would always doubt whether it could be eaten. Foodies were also very particular. They didn't eat everything. If it ate something bad, it would affect his training. Don't worry, it's edible. The basic requirement for the iron-eating beast to eat a level 1 Thunder Element metal mineral resource was expert level hardening. Since 11 was at that stage already, digestion would definitely be no problem. Woo! When 11 heard that, it reluctantly approached the electric ore carefully. It hardened its palm and pried with all its might. Bang! When the electric mine was pulled out, the lightning suddenly cracked, and the sound shocked 11, causing it to sit on the ground. Shiyu? How could it be so stupid? It was so fierce in battle, how could it explode from digging ore? Woo! 11 also felt very embarrassed. It hurriedly crawled up and picked up the fallen electric mineral again. At this moment, the electric current stimulated 11's entire body, making it feel numb. Its hair stood up, and it was very uncomfortable. Whether it was before it ate the iron bamboo or before it ate the iron heartwood, 11 could smell the fragrance of the food in advance. However, this thing didn't. Instead, it looked and felt very dangerous. Could it really be eaten? 11 turned around and handed it to Shiyu. Maybe it would be better for the beast tamer to eat it first. It's all right, eat it first. You don't have to worry about your body getting injured. Your high-speed healing is already proficient, and the electrical burns in your body can also heal on their own. What Shiyu said made sense. He wanted the iron-eating beast to master proficient level hardening that allowed it to be fully armed before it ate the electric mine, so that the electric current wouldn't hurt the fragile cells in the iron-eating beast's body. However, it was actually fine even if 11 was injured. The entry-level healing speed could heal external injuries. The proficient level healing speed could also heal the injuries in the body. Therefore, there was no problem at all. Shiyu was very relieved. Even with such a healing skill, 11 could still eat a large amount of electric mineral in the short term. He did not have to worry about his body being burdened, and from that, he could awaken his thunder talent faster. Expert level healing at a high speed. This was also why Shiyu thought that 11 could eat such big amounts of food in 3 days. Woo, since the beast tamer had said so, 11 showed a determined expression. Crack! It hardened its entire body and bit at the electric mineral in its mouth with its hardened teeth. Crack! Crack! 11 tried hard to chew the electric ore. Under the pulsing current, it ate the electric ore like a candy. After the chewing was completed, 11 tried hard to swallow the electric mineral fragment. Woo! As 11 swallowed the electric ore, the electric current spreading in its body made it numb again. Then, 11 was extremely shocked. Although it couldn't be said to be delicious, the numbing feeling after swallowing the electric mineral made it feel as if lightning had exploded in its body, making it feel very strange. It didn't reject this feeling. It even felt that it was as comfortable as during the special training. It seemed that it could really eat this. Burp Tildes 11 opened its mouth and spat out a weak electric arc. Then, it patted its stomach and looked at Shiyu. Anything else? Well, looks like there's no problem. Then, let's continue looking for more electric ore to eat, Shiyu said. According to the description of the apprentice from the Bamboo Stone Dojo, after the iron-eating beast ate a large amount of electric ores, it would produce a certain amount of lightning affinity and accumulate a certain amount of lightning talent. During this process, being struck by lightning more could also accelerate the development of thunder element talent. These were the basic conditions to master thunder-type skills. In fact, Shiyu was still very interested in thunder element skills. If there were any fire ores or cold iron ores here, he definitely wouldn't be so interested. With the limited number of skills recorded in the skill index, compared to the fire attribute Cannon Fist, he was more inclined to let the iron-eating beast learn thunder-type skills. The reason was very simple. Metal and thunder types were more compatible than metal and fire types. For those powerful beast tamers, a single skill was only the foundation. Only by combining different basic skills and forming a combination skill could one truly be considered to have entered the door of the pet taming industry. Combination skills were very difficult for ordinary beast tamers because it tested the proficiency between different skills. If the proficiency was not high enough, the skills could not be perfectly combined and connected. In a situation where the skill proficiency was really difficult to train, there were very few beast tamers who could have results that exceeded the original combination. It was basically something that only master-level beast tamers could do, but for Shiyu, it might not be that difficult. Because he could quickly increase his proficiency. For example, he could upgrade hardening to perfection. This skill could even form a long-range combination skill with thunder-type skills. The perfect level symbol for hardening skill was flowing and superimposing. As for above that, the transcendent level symbol, it was releasing and applying. It was said that in the entire Icefield city, only one iron-eating beast had reached this level. It meant that the iron-eating beast could use hardening substances to condense weapons that left its body, or stack a layer of hardening on other external items. Shiyu found this effect very interesting. Therefore, Shiyu was thinking about how violent it would be if 11 condensed a metal cannonball in front of his palm after mastering perfect level hardening and used the electromagnetic force to accelerate and throw it. The hardening skill at close range directly turned into a double-element high-destructive long-range combination skill, electromagnetic cannon. Metal and thunder types were the main cultivation routes for iron-eating beasts that Shiyu had temporarily set. Most pets only had one main attribute, and in order to form powerful combination skills, some powerful beast tamers like to teach their pet skills with other attributes to assemble. The attributes of this secondary cultivation were usually called secondary attributes. Shiyu planned to focus on metal supplementary lightning. The main reason was that these two attributes were easier to form a combination skill. Compared to them, metal and fire elements weren't that compatible. This is an electric scorpion? As they continued searching for the electric ore and electric slimes, Shiyu and the others were the first to discover new electric ore. This time, the electric ores were not alone, but 3 ore combined. However, unlike before, there was a ferocious beast guarding the side of the electric ore this time. The electric scorpion, which was the size of 2 forearms and had lightning patterns on its purple body, was absorbing the electric chi leaking from the electric mine. Name: Electric Scorpion. Attributes: Thunder. Race level: Low level Transcendent. Race skill: Electric Thorn. Electric Scorpion can absorb lightning and store it in its body. Then, it will input poisonous electric currents into the enemy's body with its tail thorn, killing the opponent. Although its race was a low-level Transcendent, on the same level as the green worm, it was much more threatening than the green worm. Z. At this moment, seeing other creatures approaching, the 2 electric scorpions, whose growth levels were around level 5, seemed to be facing a great enemy. But before they could react, they were held in 11's hands. As for their electric spikes, they couldn't penetrate 11's hardening at all. Woo! 11's arm shook like a windmill. It spun a few times and threw the electric scorpion far away. Because the target was 3 level 10 electric slimes, Shiyu simply ignored these minor characters. After chasing away the competitors, 11 started to dig these electric ores. Their goal was to eat all the electric ores in the magnetic mountain area. Since the registration fee had been paid, there was no need to save resources at all. Presumably, the Beast Tamer Association of Ping Cheng wouldn't really mind the disappearance of these electricity ores either. Chapter 43, Replication and Multiplication. Chapter 43, Replication and Multiplication. What are these two guys doing? The magnetic mountain area was clearly also an area focused on by the staff. In the monitoring room of the training base headquarters, as Shiyu temporarily obtained first place in points through the 5 Longthorn wild boars, he also became the main focus of the 5 professional beast tamers. On a whim, a professional beast tamer searched for Shiyu's figure on the surveillance cameras, but he really found him. However, Shiyu's current behavior was really unfathomable. On the screen, Shiyu and the iron-eating beast were like bullies, charging into the territories of Thunder Element ferocious beasts. Then, the little iron-eating beast defeated the Thunder Element ferocious beast in a few moves. Then, a turning point came. Shiyu and the iron-eating beast did not have the slightest mentality of participating in the assessment. They directly threw the ferocious beasts far away, looking like they did not feel the value at the points they represented. In addition, they had unearthed the electricity ore that represented points, but they had no intention of exchanging points. Instead, the iron-eating beast opened its mouth and eliminated them with a crack. It was simply walking all the way and snatching all the way. Expert level hardening. There's something wrong with this iron-eating beast. A professional beast tamer leaned over to look at the scene. He opened his mouth slightly and said, "Where did this monster newcomer come from?" Real outstanding beast tamers and pets couldn't be hidden. Shiyu and the others could easily kill the ferocious beasts blocking the way because they relied on their expert level hardening and proficient level supervision. They were completely invincible. The group of professional beast tamers naturally sensed Shiyu and 11's extraordinariness, and they spoke in shock. No wonder they could hunt 5 wild boars. When I was an apprentice, I was far inferior to them. This candidate clearly can't be bothered with these small points. His target is definitely a level 10 creature. From the performance of this iron-eating beast in the image, fighting a level 10 creature is not a problem at all. The level 10 creatures in the magnetic mountain area are those 3 electric slimes imported from outside, right? The person in charge of training, Zhu Wanshan, said, "It's the slime. I wonder if they can handle it. But even if they can't deal with it, it won't be a problem to retreat unscathed." Slimes were creatures with relatively slow movements. As long as they passed the high school physical test, they wouldn't be caught up by the slimes jumping around. However, on the contrary, even if Shiyu and his panda could defeat the electric slime, they would probably have to pay a price. The main reason was that the electric slime's electric release skill was a Thunder Element skill. Its penetration power was very strong according to its power. In addition, there was a 4-level difference between the two, so even if it was expert level in hardening, it might not necessarily be able to deal with it unscathed like dealing with low-level ferocious beasts. Mount Tuanmang, Magnetic Mountain, Electric Cave. After eating a pile of electric ores, 11 successfully imprinted the taste of the electric ores in his mind. Then, with its sensitive sense of smell, they found this place. "I finally discovered the first electric slime." Outside the small cave, Shiyu's expression was excited. He had finally discovered an electric slime. The electric slime was a blue-purple mud-like creature very similar to an electric ore. Electric current shot out from its body from time to time. At this moment, it was in a shrunken state, lying in the middle of a pile of electric ores. It was not afraid of the electric current around it. Instead, it looked very comfortable. After all, with their attributes and physiques, they could be immune to weak corresponding elemental powers. Lightning was nourishing to them, not harming. They found the electric slime. Shiyu and the iron-eating beast finally arrived at the electric cave. The few professional beast tamers watched with interest. Although this iron-eating beast looked agile and had astonishing strength, it clearly didn't have long-range skills. As long as he fought, he would definitely come into contact with the slime. As for the slime, its entire body was wrapped in electricity. As long as one touched it, they would be hit by its discharge. It was very unsolvable. Therefore, in their opinion, this battle might be quite interesting. It was a brilliant battle between evenly matched opponents. In the electric cave, the electric slime sensed that an enemy was approaching. It immediately woke up from its meal and bounced out to look at Xiaoyu and the others cautiously. A huge battle was about to break out. At this moment, an unexpected development occurred. Xiaoyu quickly opened his backpack and threw the high-pressure insulation rubber gloves he bought to 11. Put it on, catch it, and squeeze out all the electricity in its body. Woo! 11 put on the insulation glove skillfully. Obviously, this was a battle strategy arranged in advance by Xiaoyu and 11. Right on the heels of that, under the stunned expressions of the professional beast tamers, the little iron-eating beast wearing insulation gloves charged towards the electric slime. At the same time, the electric slime's entire body was filled with electricity as it bounced and hit 11 under the discharge state. Electricity was a low-level skill that could only release electricity through contact. Moreover, this skill's control over electricity was not high, so it was very easy to crack. Without a doubt, the power of the slime was not very strong. What was strong was its electrical current strength. However, before it reached the transcendent level, its thunder element skill facing the high-pressure insulation rubber gloves was like a son meeting his father, immediately getting shut down. 11 caught it in its hand like it was picking up a baseball. Crack! The electric slime kept releasing electricity in mid-air, and at the same time, it was stunned. 11, who was wearing an insulation glove to catch the slime, turned its head sideways and didn't dare to look at the electric current shooting out of the slime's body. This is so scary. It doesn't look like it can be eaten like an electric ore. Holy shit! This development directly made the professional beast tamers in the control room widen their eyes. What was going on? It could even be done this way? The base store sells insulation gloves? It does, right? But before this, no beast tamer was so clear-headed as to put them on a pet to challenge Thunder Element ferocious beasts. Usually, they wear it themselves. It's mainly because the power of the electric slime is all in its discharge and defense. Its other qualities are ordinary, and it happened to be countered by the insulation glove. Who captured the slimes and set such a high number of points for them? The professional beast tamers were stunned. The level 10 creature slime with the highest points in the training was being controlled just like that? Oh no, the other two slimes were probably going to be killed by this strange beast tamer. 12,000 points was equivalent to a free gift? Don't worry. It's not that simple, Zhu Wanshan said with a complicated expression. Yes, 11, pinch it and let it continue to discharge and release electricity. When 11 and the slime were fighting, Xiaoyu was fanning the flames beside them. Apart from releasing electricity, the strength of the electric slime's body was trash. There was no possibility of it breaking free. Its defense was strong, because the slime's soft mud-like body could withstand a huge impact. Even a hard punch might not be able to instantly kill it. However, there was no need for Xiaoyu and the others to waste their energy hitting it. It could just pinch it with the insulation glove and wait for it to release all the electricity in its body. This was called tactics. Who? The electric slime was very aggrieved and angry. The current was released even more fiercely, but it still couldn't affect the insulation glove. In fact, facing a level 10 boss, it was really not that easy to cheat through the fight. Even in this situation where it was restrained, the slime still had a chance to resist. However, unless it was desperate, the electric slime was very unwilling to use this skill. High-level skill, multiplication. If it used this skill to multiply its size, its strength would increase, and the electric current in its body could be stimulated at a greater limit. But the side effect would make it exhausted for a long time. The purpose of the slimes was to shrink and act cute if possible. Unless there were special circumstances, they would never multiply their size into giant, scary Demon King slimes. And now, the electric slime that had encountered a desperate situation clearly encountered a special situation. Woo! It cried out in extreme anger, and its size began to increase continuously. At this moment, no matter how strong 11 was, it definitely couldn't pinch it with its two hands, and could only retreat. Rip! As the electric slime rapidly enlarged, Shiyu's eyes lit up. I'm not afraid of you becoming bigger. This is what I've been waiting for. 11, harden your whole body, Shiyu immediately instructed. During the electric slime's transformation, 11's entire body hardened. In the next second, the electric slime, which had finally escaped its control, launched a counterattack and directly bumped into it with its electrifying body. After enlarging to a huge electric slime with a diameter of 1.5 meters, the impact power and the current strength of the slime were much higher than before. Bang! 11 also slapped him. In an instant, neither side won. The huge electric slime was sent flying by 11, but due to its soft physique, it did not suffer much damage. Although 11 was wearing an insulation glove, the current released by the huge slime was too much. After all, 11 was only wearing gloves and not an insulation suit, so he couldn't completely defend. The other parts of his body were still accidentally invaded by the electric current. Even the hardening of the metal attribute couldn't completely defend. The combination of multiplication and discharge had already begun to take shape. It's reversed. Although the energy consumption of the electric slime is huge, that iron-eating beast definitely won't feel good either. It's probably a situation where both parties are injured. The professional beast tamers watched the show. However, the reversal occurred again. 11 finally used the skill of high-speed healing. Although it couldn't be seen from the outside, the place where 11's body was paralyzed and burned by the electric current was immediately healed by a green wave of life. Woo, 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 woo. After being cured, 11 became braver the more he fought. Like a bear, it continued to charge at the huge electric slime. This scene directly shattered the views of the professional beast tamers. Is expert level hardening that strong? It can even defend against a huge discharge? Or is that iron-eating beast's willpower strong? It resisted the stimulation of the current and counterattacked forcefully? After all, 11 had a history of eating electric ores as candy. At this moment, the slime was stunned again because after that attack, it completely lost its energy. When it was first captured, it wasted too much electricity, causing it to be unable to counterattack after multiplying. Capture it and continue to squeeze it dry. Shiyu's evil command came from the side. Meanwhile, outside the electric cave, the electric slime, which had all its energy drained, dimmed significantly. There was really no electricity at all, and it returned to its normal size. It was hugged by the excited and panting 11 and fell asleep. At this moment, Shiyu began to approach with a smile. He touched the slime with his loving hand. In the initial 5 skill sections of the skill index, upon contracting the first pet, 11, there were 5 new skill sections. Next, the index was about to record the 7th skill, multiplication. Discharge wasn't worth it, however. The skill level was too low, so it was inferior to the Thunder Palm. Shiyu chose to give up. When he touched the slime, Shiyu recalled the scene when he saw the multiplication skill. At the same time, he activated the skill index. In the next moment, the 7th page of the stone-illustrated handbook flipped open in Shiyu's mind. The image of the Thunder Element Pet Electric Slime appeared. Skill, Multiplication. Skill level, Advanced. Introduction, it's a special ability. It can shrink and expand the body. Under a shrunken state, the strength will decrease and the energy recovery speed will increase. Under the enlarged state, the energy consumption will increase and the strength will increase. He had obtained the all-purpose skill. Great! When Shiyu ravaged the level 10 creature electric slime in his hand like it was made of rubber, all the professional beast tamers in the control room fell silent. Not only did he defeat it, but he even dared to personally destroy a level 10 creature? This was so scary for beast tamers and pets. Was this really a newbie intern? Chapter 44, Forget the Skill Index. Chapter 44, Forget the Skill Index. Next, the electric cave occupied by the electric slime was undoubtedly taken over by Shiyu. There were many electric ores here, enough for 11 to feast on. In addition, Shiyu was not in a hurry to exchange this electric slime for points. I'll give you 2 electrical ores every day as food, but no matter how much electricity you eat, you have to release it. Shiyu communicated with the blurred electric slime telepathically. This guy was a very good generator. The discharge skill could train 11's lightning resistance and increase its thunder affinity. It was roughly equivalent to lightning forging the body. Ordinary pets definitely couldn't go about it like this, but 11 was an exception. A trace of thunder element talent and proficient level high-speed healing could recover the damage caused by the lightning stimulation at the fastest speed, allowing 11 to train with lightning without restraint. Electric slime, I might not be human, but you're really not. Just like that, the drained electric slime directly became the second training tool after the green silkworm. Woo! After hearing the new training content from Shiyu, the little iron-eating beast danced around. 11 was still very interested in this new training method. Eating electric ores and being electrocuted by a weakened version of the discharge skill seemed to be no worse than jumping off a building. It was just that after training like this, 11's hair became fluffy, causing it to look fat. This? In the safe area, little bear Yang Chi, who had told Shiyu that he could come to the magnetic mountain to train, fell into deep thought. He looked at the iron-eating beast carrying the electric slime running in the image, with a question mark on his head. Although he had told Shiyu that allowing the iron-eating beasts to undergo the lightning baptism after eating the electric ore could also increase their thunder element talent, he didn't expect Shiyu to directly take down the electric slime as a tool pet. His telepathy talent was so overpowered. Shiyu's even more inhumane actions didn't stop there. Using the insulation glove, they quickly found another companion for the first slime. The electric slime resting in another electric cave in the magnetic mountain was also captured by Shiyu and the others. The next day, the third slime couldn't escape either. It was captured by Shiyu and the iron-eating beast. In the end, the situation clearly evolved into the 3 slimes helping 11 train. The 3 exhausted electric slimes were surrounded by Shiyu in a triangle, with 11 in the middle. Shiyu provided an electric ore. The slime that absorbed a little energy had to release some electricity and let the little beast in the middle train its body. Although the slimes were unwilling, they could only surrender due to the power of Shiyu and the iron-eating beast. It couldn't be helped. Shiyu's control was too good. He definitely didn't give the slimes too much food. He had been keeping their battle power at the level of electric rubber, causing them to be unable to resist at all. Regarding controlling food, because of Shiyu's rich experience with the green worm, the electric slimes were simply miserable. Just like that, Shiyu and the others only stayed in the magnetic mountain for a day before reaping the harvest from the large amount of electric ores and the slime's discharge forging. 29th, noon. At this moment, after a day, Shiyu and the others had already gotten all the ores that were easier to find in the magnetic mountain area. 11 ate crazily while undergoing lightning training. Then, something went wrong. Woo! After being electrocuted once, the fluffy 11 stretched out its palm. In the next second, a blue and white electric current shot out of its palm and entangled crazily. Intermediate level skill, Thunder Palm. Holy shit! This change made Shiyu, who was resting beside him, nearly fall. What was going on? 11 comprehended the Thunder Palm on its own. Shiyu hurriedly put the 3 slimes in the worm's silk sack and returned to the previous safe area. He found Yang Chi to register again and called out 11. Mr. Yang Chi, is the Thunder Palm you're talking about referring to this? BZZT. The little iron-eating beast stretched out its palm with an extremely serious expression. A second later, more than 10 blue and white electric arcs shot out of its palm. Amazing! There was no need for the skill index. Woo! This time, it had successfully learned a new skill without Shiyu's addition. Holy shit! Yang Qi exploded on the spot. How is that possible? This doesn't make sense. He looked at 11, the iron-eating beast cub that could already be filled with electricity, dumbfounded, and fell into deep thought about life. It's only been a day. How can your iron-eating beast awaken its thunder talent so quickly? At the moment, his own iron-eating beast's control over lightning seemed to be even inferior to this little iron-eating beast. This was ridiculous. In general theory, it was impossible to awaken lightning talent so easily with just the electric ore and electric shock. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so few iron-eating beasts who mastered the Thunder Palm in the Bamboo Stone Martial Arts Hall. He should still need the support of other steps. Why did Shiyu and the others rely on simple materials to complete all the training in a day? Perhaps we worked very hard? Shiyu pretended to be in deep thought. Yang Qi was suddenly speechless. Because every time he noticed Shiyu and this iron-eating beast, they were definitely fighting, training, and eating. It was rare to see them rest. They only rested for a while before quickly moving again. He wasn't afraid that he had seen a fake iron-eating beast. Are you sure that this was an iron-eating beast and not a hyperactive husky? It still doesn't make sense. Yang Qi looked at the little iron-eating beast. Even so, this talent was too strange. So this is the lightning palm, right? Shiyu chuckled. It was indeed unscientific. However, he should know what was going on. Perhaps it was because of the high-speed healing. The high-speed healing of wood-type skills was a form of use of one's life force, representing growth. In the system of the 5 elements and 8 trigrams, lightning was also connected with wood. The damage caused by lightning forging the body was healed by wood element skills. Not only did it increase the efficiency of training, but there was also probably some magical reaction between the two, which accelerated 11's mastery process. This didn't make sense, but it was very surreal. Yang Qi still doubted life. Although its power seems a little weak, it's indeed the Thunder Palm. Well, the strength isn't enough. At most, it touched the entry criteria. When the palm can withstand high-intensity electric currents and let the condensed lightning have a strong numbing penetrating effect, that's when the Thunder Palm's true power is. I understand. Shiyu nodded, feeling happy. This came without any effort. He originally thought that he would have to go to the dojo to replicate it before 11 could master the Thunder Palm, but 11 actually learned it himself. It was a complete surprise for Shiyu. From the looks of it, there seemed to be a certain connection between the different skills. After learning one skill, learning another skill would be much easier. For example, the Thunder Palm could actually be seen as a high-level skill for discharge. Since it could even use the Thunder Palm, it was actually equivalent to being able to use discharge as well. However, although 11 had learned it on its own, Shiyu still decided to record the Thunder Palm in the index later. In Shiyu's opinion, the skill proficiency function of the index was also very important. When a mid-level skill was maxed out, the effect was not necessarily worse than a super-level skill. Then can I trouble Mr. Yang Qi to help me register the slime's points? Are you still going to the magnetic mountain area next? No, there aren't many electric ores over there anymore. Yang Qi. Beast! The accumulated points of the electric ores were probably more than the 3 slimes. These guys ate it all? After Shiyu left, Yang Qi still couldn't calm down. He stiffly called Master Lin of Bamboo Stone Dojo. Yang Qi? What's wrong? Lin Hongnian's master said. Master Lin, that Shiyu indeed went to the magnetic mountain to train as I said. Oh? How's the effect? The effect was very good. His iron-eating beast ate all the electric ores in the mountain. Then, they captured 3 electric slimes to assist in training. Now, it has successfully mastered the Thunder Palm. Lin Hongnian was speechless. What was going on? Chapter 45, End of the Training. Chapter 45, End of the Training. After 11 mastered the Thunder Palm, Shiyu felt that it was time to change places to train. Although he could continue to look for electric ores to strengthen the thunder-type skills 11 had just learned in the magnetic mountain, it was not very meaningful. Electric ore was only a level 1 resource, not very expensive and rare. Its value was not much different from iron bamboo. When he returned, it was better to purchase or buy higher-level resources in bulk. The more exposed electric ores in the magnetic mountain area, such as the 3 electric caves, had basically been searched by them. The remaining were hidden and difficult to find. If they searched again, the efficiency wouldn't be very high. It was better to take advantage of the remaining time to earn some other resources. 11. Let's help the green worm find some nutritious food. After thinking about it, Shiyu said to 11, the green silkworm has followed them for so long, but it seems like it hasn't eaten anything decent. The green silkworm had also helped a lot these 2 days. Even if it didn't contribute much, it had worked hard. It was time to reward it. Yes. 11 nodded indifferently. Of course, of course. Every day, Buggy looked like he was about to die after training. 11 was really afraid of losing this little partner. GG! The green worm in the backpack cried. Generally speaking, the evolution materials that were prepared for the green silkworm were only used when it was approaching cocoon transformation at level 9 or 10. At other stages of growth, the value of using rare materials was not very high. After all, only at the cocoon transformation stage, with the nourishment of the cocoon, would the green silkworm have a high chance of comprehending new racial skills. In other stages, it seemed that only the worm's silk was worth strengthening. At this moment, Shiyu also started to consider what direction he should nurture the green silkworm in. It was very important to determine the direction of a pet in order to train it. For example, 11 and Shiyu were cultivated according to the standard battle pet template. It was fine as long as they were good at fighting and were all round. As for the green silkworm, Shiyu did not want it to be like a traditional battle pet. After all, he had the skill index, so it was relatively easy for him to DIY it. It was better to choose some rare and more practical evolution directions. Healing butterfly? This way, it might be able to learn a skill that could help him, a beast tamer, recover his physical strength and energy in the future, and use it with the skill index. Support butterfly? For example, the goddess of light butterfly, which had light control and illusion abilities, was a very good personal bodyguard of the beast tamer. Its abilities were very widely used. Or, nurture it in the direction of mythology? Traditional mythical creatures, such as dragons and phoenixes, were all naturally noble races. For example, the first ice phoenix moth in the country to master the evolution of a transcendent level worm silk that Lu Qingyi mentioned was an evolution completed after integrating the ice phoenix bloodline during the evolution process. It was also because it possessed the mythical bloodline that this green silkworm could directly become an honorable monarch-level race from the lowest position in the pet world. Also, if the compatibility was enough, he could choose some rare attributes. For example, space and time. If he had a pet that could master instant transmission, its escape skills would be considered full. It would basically be fearless if it encountered danger. Moreover, these rare attributes might not be weak in other aspects. With this concept, Shiyu realized that there were simply too many evolution paths for the green silkworm. It was so dazzling that he had no choice. The key is still skills and materials. It's not that easy to obtain rare skills and materials. For example, where can I find the evolution materials used by the Ice Phoenix moth? I guess I can only use Bureau 11's channels. Forget it, it's too early to think so much. I'll see what materials I can find first. At the moment, the most important thing is to nurture the worm's silk to the highest level. Shiyu flipped through the booklet and found a spiritual plant that was very suitable for the green silkworm as food. Dragon Whiskers Grass. A level 1 spiritual plant was named after its beard that looked like an eastern dragon. It was the favorite food of pets who had mastered silk skills. It could effectively increase the tenacity and sharpness of the worm's silk. This is it. During the search for the Dragon Whiskers Grass, he brought 11 along to challenge powerful ferocious beasts. The next day would be used for this. Collecting Dragon Whiskers grass was actually much easier because the spider-type ferocious beasts around the Dragon Whiskers grass were basically not that powerful. The most powerful one was a level 10 awakened ferocious beast, the ghost-faced wolf spider. It was worth 4,000 points. But in the end, it was still killed by 11. Although the battle process was a little more difficult than fighting an electric slime, it did prove that 11's current battle power was stronger than these untrained wild level 10 ferocious beasts. The reason was very simple. Even if these wild creatures grew at a higher level, their skill proficiency was too low. They basically relied on instinct. Very few creatures would train independently. For example, that slime. Be it its discharge or multiplication skills, they were both initial level. The race skill of the more difficult ghost-faced wolf spider that Xiyu encountered later was only at the proficient level, so when it faced 11, who had multiple proficient and even expert level skills, the difference in level was not that obvious. In fact, Xiyu hoped that the nearby spider-type ferocious beasts were more powerful. It would be best if he could master a premonition danger skill like Spider Sense. Then, he would be very happy. Xiyu wanted 11 to use the Haki of the famous comic One Piece on Earth. Now that he had Armament Haki Hardening and Conqueror's Haki, he was just short of Observation Haki. But so be it. Since it had Supervision, it could pretend to make do with it. A proficient level Supervision could allow 11 to have extremely strong dynamic vision. It was already very impressive that he could clearly lock onto his target like a fog in various extreme environments. In the future, when he reached the expert and perfect level, according to the information Xiyu found on his cell phone, he could even have a 360-degree perspective and see the effect of the energy flow. As for the transcendent level, he wasn't sure, but the effect would definitely be stronger. When the time came, with perfect supervision as a reconnaissance skill, the effect wouldn't be too bad. In short, the green worm was very happy on this last day. It felt that its trip this time was not in vain. This Dragon Whiskers grass was much more delicious than Xiyu's leftovers. In less than 3 days, Xiyu, 11, and the green silkworm had different gains. Xiyu obtained the multiplication skill. 11 learned Thunder Palm on its own, and the green silkworm had an extra meal. It was obvious who was the one who profited the most. In the blink of an eye, the 3-day training event at Mount Tuanmang was about to end. In the training base, the 5 professional beast tamers carefully looked at the final points displayed on the big screen. First place, Xiyu, 20,000 points. Apart from the 4 level 10 creatures and 5 Longthorn wild boars, Xiyu also collected some resources on the way and handed them in, gathering 20,000 points. He's indeed in first place. Although hunting the slimes was a cheap trick, hunting the ghost-faced wolf spiders alone later undoubtedly proved their true strength. The one in charge, Zhu Wanshan, listened to the evaluations of his surrounding teammates and silently looked at Xiyu's information. The average level of the pets of the beast tamers in charge of this training base is low. None of the beast tamers have reached level 10. Level 10 is the strongest ferocious beast in Mount Tuanmang at the moment. It's indeed very impressive for him to be able to control a level 6 iron-eating beast to defeat for level 10 ferocious beasts. He deserves to be first. It's rare to see such a beast tamer who can fight above his level in Pingcheng. I wonder how his performance in the ruins will be next. With Xiyu's current results, he had undoubtedly obtained the qualifications to enter the ruins. It's over. It's finally freaking over. I ate tree fruits for 2 whole days. I vomited. I want to shower, I want to shower. I'm going to die if I can't shower anymore. Am I that popular with the mosquitoes? I've gotten 49 bites in less than 3 days. After the training base announced the end of the assessment through the mechanical bird, the beast trainers on Mount Tuanmang went down the mountain and complained. As for Xiyu, he looked at the sky with a calm expression as he walked. It had been tough on him this time. Maybe he should take out a portion of the 10 million yuan to reward himself? It was time to buy some high-end supplements. Chapter 46, Purchasing Supplement. Chapter 46, Purchasing Supplement. At the training base of Mount Tuanmang was a huge field. On the huge field, miserable beast tamers stood. In the beginning, a total of 100 people entered Mount Tuen Mang, and now only 73 were left standing here. As expected, the 27 who were missing withdrew midway. Perhaps it was because they couldn't tolerate the wild environment, or because they were injured during the training process and had no choice but to stop the assessment. The fact that you can still stand here means that you still have some qualifications. Mount Tuen Mang is just an artificial training environment. If you can't even stand here, don't talk about exploring ruins, let alone participating in the vocation assessment in the future. It's better to go home and raise pets obediently. The person in charge of the training, Zhu Wanshan, stood on the platform and said impolitely. Below, the beast tamers were silent. This guy was the boss here, so they let him say whatever he wanted. However, compared to this nonsense, these candidates wanted to know what rank they could get in the assessment this time. Although they could roughly calculate their points during the training process, they didn't know anyone else's at all, so the ranking was a mystery. Alright, if you want to know your specific points ranking, you can look at it yourselves. The results have been pasted on that wall. Among them, the top 20 can obtain the qualifications to explore the ruins. A week later, I'll lead you into the ruins for the first time in a week. Be mindful of the association's notification regarding the specific situation. This assessment is over. You can leave after exchanging your points. After a simple announcement, the person in charge of the training base, Zhu Wanshan, turned and left, leaving behind the noisy crowd. Unsurprisingly, everyone rushed to the wall beside the platform. 10 copies of the same score list were printed in the training base. They were spread out on the wall and could be clearly seen by everyone. In the crowd, Shiyu went over with the main group and looked down directly. This feeling. How should he put it? It made him feel like he was returning to high school in a dream. Every time he finished his monthly exam, he would be surrounded by his classmates to look at his grades. First place, Shiyu, 20,000 points. Who, Shiyu? No. It's not our school. Not from our school either. Most of the beast tamers present were still students. After all, the average level was not high. The older batch of beast trainers with average pets at level 10 were all assigned to another training base. At this moment, the candidates at the scene started discussing among themselves. As for Shiyu himself, he turned around and left the moment he saw his name, hiding his merits and reputation. The first place in the assessment was nothing much. It was better to quickly exchange points for real money to heal his bank account. Although that was the case, he was still betrayed. Holy shit, Shiyu! In the crowd, Chen Kai, the top student, looked at the name in the first place of the points and had a special feeling. Although he knew that Shiyu was very strong, he still felt a faint sadness when he saw that Shiyu had taken first place. 20,000 points was equivalent to 5 awakening level 10 ferocious beasts. He looked at his ranking again. Why did he feel that after working hard for a week, he was getting further and further away from Shiyu? Was he not working hard enough? You know this person? After Chen Kai exclaimed, his classmates asked one after another. Who is this person? A beast tamer from a key school in the city. I bought the refreshing capsule under his suggestion to train my pets. As expected, he's still impressive. Chen Kai's classmate was stunned. No wonder Chen Kai's ice-armored beast had broken through again and its strength had improved at lightning speed. It turned out that it had received guidance from an expert. Was it the capsule that Chen Kai often ate during his training? They took note of it and looked into it immediately when they returned. Then, Shiyu ran to exchange points. He encountered someone familiar. Yang Qi looked at Shiyu with a smile and said, I'll help you exchange it. By the way, I've told Master Lin about your iron-eating beast mastering the Thunder Palm. Oh? What did Hall Master Lin say? Yang Qi chuckled in his heart. What else could he say? Yang Qi could even guess Hall Master Lin's doubtful expression. This apprentice might not be teachable anymore. Master Lin asked you to make a trip to the dojo when you're free. There are some special nutritional supplements, food, and insights on Thunder Palm. He's planning to give them to you. All right. Shiyu nodded. This Lin Hongyan, head of a dojo, was probably that Panda Senior's father. He didn't know if this man had any other high-level skills other than the Thunder Palm. After all, he was one of the most powerful beast tamers in Pingcheng. He should have some heritage. After exchanging the points, Shiyu went home directly. He missed home, the soft bed, the hot shower, and normal food. In short, the wilderness was really not a place for humans to stay. When I have money in the future, I must form a mechanical life contract and become a mechanic. I want those that are like Transformers. They can turn into Gundams, planes, cars, and people, and houses. In this way, when he went to the wilderness in the future, it seemed that he would be able to live a modern life. After returning home, Shiyu stretched before lying down. He turned around, picked up his cell phone, and logged on to the website that person had given him. The other party said that if he wanted to buy resources, he could just buy them from this website. There seemed to be a discount and they were delivered to his door. It was just nice, it saved him the trouble of going out to buy them. If I'm bringing this candidate to the ruins in a week. Isn't the scheduling a little tight? Shiyu wanted to develop steadily first. But his suicidal spirit seemed to be restless again. Damn! I can't control myself. I want to go take a look. Forget it. I heard from Lu Qingyi that this ruin isn't dangerous. It's a training-type ruin. I'll just take a look and not court death. It's not a big problem. But no matter what, I should squander my resources first. After all, he was also a rich man now. As long as he didn't buy high-level evolution materials for the green silkworm, he could squander for a long time and buy many things. As expected, for the happiness of the whole family, it was better for the green worm to explore the evolution path on its own. If it went smoothly, perhaps he could find suitable evolution materials in the ruins. All of this was reasonable investment. Shiyu was not searching for resources for pets, but for beast tamers. Those supplementary resources that could allow beast tamers to fight for 10 days and 10 nights without any worries. It was still all right at the beast tamer stage. Some beast tamers with enhanced talent still couldn't use their talent in combat and could only use it for training. However, after leaving the initial level, the advantages of those beast tamers who had mastered enhanced battle-type talents became apparent. One beast tamer with a special telepathy talent, compared to a beast tamer with an enhancement talent. As the levels of both parties increased, the latter would only widen the gap between the former in terms of actual combat. However, in contrast, after a battle, the energy consumption of a beast tamer with the battle enchantment talent would definitely be greater. These supplements were prepared for them. Unlike medicine synthesized with a certain component of low-level materials like the refreshing capsule, most of the resources sold on this special website were purely natural. Of course, the price was even more expensive, but Shiyu felt that it didn't matter if it was expensive, as long as it was effective. Plant-type transcendent creature ginseng baby's whiskers? Centaurea queen bee's honey? The frog oil of the dragon swallowing frog? The divine beans produced by the mystic realm of the divine tree. It could restore the beast tamer's physical strength and energy in the shortest time possible under the beast tamer's extreme fatigue state. And adjust his body to its optimal state? Why did it look so familiar? The strange but extremely familiar supplements had increased. This divine bean is not bad, but the lowest quality is still 100,000 yuan per bean. It's a little expensive. But I can buy one to see its effect. With this, I might be able to try teaching high-level skills. Multiplication, absolute sleep, deterrence. I can arrange for one first. Chapter 47, The First Advanced Skill. Chapter 47, The First Advanced Skill. As he did not know the exact effect of each supplement, Shiyu did not dare to buy too much at once. After careful selection, he chose 3 supplements and bought some each. 5 ginseng baby whiskers were worth 250,000 yuan, minimum 5 units per purchase. A small bottle of Centaurea queen bee's honey was worth 300,000 yuan. 5 divine beans that probably wouldn't fill his belly were worth 500,000 yuan, minimum 5 units per purchase. He spent 1,050,000 yuan in one go. Including the discount, nearly 1/10 of the initial 10 million yuan was gone. Shiyu felt the pinch. How could he squander like this? However, when he thought that he might be able to teach 11 all the high-level skills with these supplements and max out the proficiency of a few skills, he gave in. Money was meant to be spent. Moreover, using this million yuan to buy food and nutritional supplements for 11 might not necessarily be as useful as buying supplements for himself. This is still the cheapest batch of supplements. Shiyu sighed. After placing the order, he fell asleep again. When he woke up, it was already night. At night, if he stayed up late to meditate and play with his cell phone, it might affect his state during the day. Shiyu decided to continue sleeping, but the problem was that after sleeping for a while, he wasn't that tired anymore. Therefore, after preparing dinner for the 2 pets, Shiyu could only teach the worm silk skill to the green silkworm in the bird cage in the courtyard. After his stamina fell, sleepiness returned. This skill index seemed to have the ability to treat insomnia. Not bad. The next day, the sun was shining brightly. Shiyu woke up feeling refreshed. Today, he had planned to go to Bamboo Stone Dojo to take a look, but a cell phone message made him change his mind. The supplements he bought yesterday were already in the midst of distribution and had arrived at Icefield City. They could reach today. How efficient! In that case, I'll just wait at home today. In the morning, 11 was pondering about the thunder palm in the courtyard. The green silkworm continued to sleep while Shiyu was meditating. About noon, when Yu was about to go prepare lunch, there was a knock on their door. "There's a delivery for you." Coming. As he had experience being given warmth by the community the last time, Shiyu hurriedly replied, afraid that his house would be destroyed again. He opened the door and saw a young man in a blue delivery suit. Beside him was a 2-meter-tall, weaponized giant bird. The giant bird had strong muscles, gorgeous golden brown feathers, and sharp eyes. However, although it looked domineering, it was only doing the work of a tool pet for the time being. A huge delivery box was hanging on it. Name: Wings of Wind. Attributes: Wind. Race level: High Transcendent. Race skill: Wind Wings, Ripping Claw, Super Sight, Wind Blade. The young man took out the box containing the supplements from the delivery box hanging on the wings of the sky and handed it to Shiyu. "Please sign here." Shiyu? They actually used transcendent-level creatures to deliver packages. The Wings of Wind was the bird pet with the highest overall strength among transcendent-level creatures. "Little brother, you're a professional beast tamer?" When Shiyu signed it, he asked casually. "Yes, I just joined this year. If there's anything I'm not doing well, please inform me," the young man said. After Shiyu received the goods, he felt extremely stifled. In this day and age, even the threshold of the delivery industry was so high. Though, the salary must be very high. After all, the resources assigned to that website were all high-end goods. After signing the letter, Shiyu handed it over. The delivery man took the delivery order and looked at Shiyu. This little guest was a beast tamer in turn, right? Speaking of which, why did he buy so many high-level supplements? Even as a professional, he himself didn't need so many. He decided to forget it. Good luck. Have a good day. Thank you. After the delivery boy and Shiyu thanked each other, the bill was completed. Then, in the courtyard, Shiyu began to take out tonics one by one. He was very careful, afraid that it would break. He first took out a bottle with 5 green beans. After looking at the accompanying manual, Shiyu called 11 over. 11, come here. Who? 11, who was playing electric in the courtyard, ran over. At this moment, with higher-level supplements, Shiyu's heart surged. Skill: Multiplication. Skill level: Advanced. Introduction: It's a special ability. It can shrink and expand the body. Under a shrunken state, the strength will decrease and the energy recovery speed will increase. Under the enlarged state, the energy consumption will increase and the strength will increase. Status can be taught. Xiyu planned to teach 11 the multiplication skill first. As for why, it wasn't the deterrent skill that allowed 11 to have the aptitude of a king, or even the absolute sleep that could increase the efficiency of his and 11's training. It was very simple. Because the multiplication skill was more interesting. In any case, with so many supplements, there were still only 3 high-level skills in total. It was the same whether he taught them early or late. Xiyu first chose the multiplication skill that he found relatively interesting. In the enlarged state, 11 could increase his battle power. In the shrunken state, he could accelerate the recovery of his physical fitness. Learning this skill first was not a loss. Xiyu took out a divine bean and placed it in his mouth. Skill Index. As Xiyu chose to teach, his right hand suffused with a white halo again. At this moment, 11 was stunned to see this familiar scene. It panicked. This beast tamer, was he going to make it reap the benefits without working for them again? Woo! He had just learned the Thunder Palm on his own, and the beast tamer was going to use cheats to invade its mind again. This wasn't good. 11 stretched out its head. Since it couldn't resist, it chose to enjoy it. He would double his efforts later. Just like that, the white light that represented the multiplication of skill experience flowed into 11's body, and Xiyu's legs started to soften. Cooldown time, 168 hours. The levelless worm silk skill was about 8 hours. Low-level skills were about 24 hours. The intermediate skills were about 48 hours. Xiyu originally thought that the high-level skill was 72 hours, but in the end, it was more than doubled. In his extremely weak state, Xiyu felt that he was about to die. He hurriedly swallowed the divine bean. In the next second, energy began to flow in Xiyu's body. Just as the introduction said, in an extremely short period of time, the divine bean erupted with immense nutrition and began to nourish Xiyu's body. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Xiyu's body suddenly surged with power. Cooldown time, 48 hours. Although it didn't completely allow Xiyu to recover, the consumption was reduced to an acceptable range. In an instant, Xiyu felt as if he had not just taught a high-level skill, but just an intermediate-level skill. Judging by his experience with getting weak after teaching a skill, Xiyu felt that he could do it again. It looked like advanced skills were the current limit of his teaching. Before his physique improved by a lot, even if he had stronger supplements, he definitely couldn't touch super skills. This is killing me. Xiyu let out a long sigh and ignored the dirt on the ground. He sat down on the spot and looked at 11. At this moment, 11 was closing its eyes and digesting the experience from the advanced level multiplication skill. Xiyu stared at it for nearly a minute before 11 returned to its senses. You've mastered it? Xiyu asked. 11 nodded hard. Then let's see how big you can get. As Xiyu finished speaking, the round 11 nodded seriously and used the multiplication skill with a serious gaze. In the next second, buzz! Ripples seemed to spread out from 11's body. Accompanied by the ripples, its body began to tremble slightly. Then, as the transparent ripples vibrated, its body began to expand in circles. Buzz! Buzz! It didn't suddenly become bigger, but its body gradually enlarged in proportion. Its limbs, torso, head, and hair were all changing at this moment. Woo! A moment later, a round 11 that was still no different from before but had doubled in height and size appeared in front of Xiyu. At this moment, 11 slowly waved its arm, but it still wasn't used to it. It felt that the energy in its body was being consumed rapidly, but at the same time, its strength seemed to have increased by more than just a little. It was probably the difference in strength between a young panda and an adult panda in reality. In this state, 11 felt that if it encountered those long-spined wild boars again, it could send them flying more than 10 meters with a slap. 11's eyes were filled with battle intent. Gulp! However, there was no battle intent in his stomach. 11 at. In less than 10 seconds, 11 started to feel dizzy. After all, it had consumed a lot of its physical strength just now. All right, quickly shrink and show me. It was called multiplication. There was the option of double and triple. Naturally, there was also 1/5, 1/4. That was the so-called shrinking state. As a beast tamer, Shiyu hurriedly made it shrink and recover its strength after sensing the power of the transformation. In the next second, 11 looked like it was leaking air. It first quickly circled and shrunk to the size of an ordinary person, which was about a meter tall. Then, it continued shrinking. Soon, it shrank into a real round ball half a meter tall, round, and short. In this state, it was closer to how it looked when it was 11 years old. It looked harmless, and its big eyes revealed innocence. Sob. 11 touched its stomach and let out an aggrieved cry. It had become smaller, but it was still hungry. Cough, looks like for the initial level multiplication, doubling in volume and shrinking to half, is already the limit. It was still lacking some proficiency compared to the Ultraman-sized huge iron-eating beast in Shiyu's mind, as well as the mini iron-eating beast that could stand on his shoulder. But it was also very good. After all, he had just learned it. All right, let's eat. Shiyu was in a good mood as he looked at the little iron-eating beast. Let's have you eat like this in the future. I think we can save a lot of food expenses, he joked. 11. What? Chapter 48, Always Making Money. Chapter 48, Always Making Money. Shiyu was very pleased that 11 had finally learned the first high-level skill. Although it was still far from the legendary surmounting skill with the ability to move mountains and drain seas, or the divine skill that could change the world that was recorded in myths and legends. It was still a huge improvement. However, looking at the cooldown time, 48 hours, Shiyu fell into deep thought. He didn't prepare lunch for 11 and the others immediately. Instead, he picked up the bottle with the divine beans. One divine bean cancelled out the 120-hour week period. If another one came, could it immediately revive him to full health and even make things better than before? The manual said that the divine beans could be eaten in a large amount in a weakened state until the user recovered to their perfect state. He bought the lowest grade divine beans, so he didn't have to worry about overdosing on this. Therefore, eating 2 or 3 in one go shouldn't be a problem. Amazing! This was a joy that couldn't be enjoyed with the refreshing capsule, which was a synthetic medicine. However, Shiyu, who was about to eat a second divine bean, quickly hesitated. The effect of the divine bean was clearly greater than the 48-hour week period. Wouldn't it be a loss to directly eat it? The manual didn't say if he could split half of it and eat it. If he ate it like this, he would waste tens of thousands of yuan. The price of a divine bean is 100,000 yuan per grain. Baby ginseng's whiskers are 50,000 yuan each. So, maybe I can use another supplement next. No, even the roots of a ginseng baby aren't safe. Shiyu took out the Centaurea queen bee's honey and placed it in a small bottle. Although the queen bee had the word queen, it wasn't a monarch-level creature. It was just a commander-level creature. This kind of creature grew by absorbing the nectar of different strange flowers. There were also many other titles such as Royal Honey Jelly and King Bee Jelly. They were supplements even in his previous life. As for this world, the nourishing effect was even greater. Shiyu found his red date cup, poured out the contents, and poured in the supplement. Although this small bottle of honey was worth 300,000 yuan, it could be used multiple times. It would be fine after warm water was poured into the inner pocket. Therefore, theoretically speaking, using this supplement first was the best way to control the amount and strive to not waste anything. Shiyu soaked a third of the honey in a large cup. After mixing it fully, he took a sip and waited. This effect was much slower than the divine bean. Shiyu waited for a few minutes before his body reacted. Cool down time, 46 hours. After taking a small sip, his weakness period was reduced by 2 hours. Shiyu was excited on the spot. It's so good to be rich. People got what they paid for, after all. The refreshing capsules he could buy outside the pharmacy didn't have such an effect at all. The refreshing capsule only relied on the effect of the medicine to forcefully restore his spirit. The cooldown time was even more impossible to directly jump up and down on a large cooldown number like this. At most, it was only a support recovery. It was nowhere like the honey, which was greatly influencing the cooldown time. Shiyu seemed to see a new life. It would be fine if he didn't go to this pharmacy in the future. He wouldn't have to suffer the strange looks of the employees anymore. He gulped it down. Shiyu took another sip and brought a cup with him. He planned to clear the cooldown time today and teach skills again at night. It was really good to spend money. His teaching efficiency increased immediately. It seemed like the 10 million starting capital wouldn't be given for 11 and the green silkworm to enjoy too much. It was better to use them to buy supplements for himself at a higher price. He was probably the only beast tamer who could use these supplements to such an effect. That night, Shiyu drank almost half a cup of happy water. His teaching cooldown was finally cleared. Shiyu was happy, but not too happy either. Because he used a third of this honey to make this cup of happy water, half a cup was about 50,000 yuan. However, he had only recovered 48 hours of weakness. The divine bin worth 100,000 yuan recovered a full 120 hours. The difference in cost-effective ratio was immediately obvious. It's not quite right to calculate it this way. After all, the divine beans are mainly supplements to recover physical strength and energy, and apart from similar effects, the honey can also prevent diseases. Shiyu couldn't be bothered to count it. The problem now was that he had eaten supplements for the whole day and was a little too awake. It would probably be very difficult for him to sleep again. As expected, worm silk should still be the first choice for tonight's teaching skills. The 8-hour cooldown period of teaching the worm silk skill is suitable for sleeping. Shiyu decisively went to look for the green silkworm and taught it the 4th time. It was still at the expert level. The proficiency level increased, but there was no qualitative change. It looked like he still had to continue teaching if he wanted to reach the perfect level of the worm silk. It's all right. In the future, I'll just rely on teaching worm silk at night to tire myself and sleep. It'll probably max out soon. Not only can it increase the proficiency of the worm silk, but it can also prevent insomnia. It can promote sleep and ensure mental health. It's amazing. August 2nd. Morning. Shiyu took out another divine bean and half a bottle of happy water, planning to teach 11 another high-level skill. 11. After 11's morning training and breakfast, it was called over by Shiyu again, which made it a little nervous. To be precise, it had a bad premonition. As expected, under 11's gaze, Shiyu's right hand lit up again. Woo! What was it this time? The little iron-eating beast covered its eyes. This time, it's a skill that can increase the efficiency of training. Skill, Absolute Sleep. Skill level, Advanced. Introduction, it's a spiritual skill that can allow one to enter a super deep sleep and quickly recover their various states. Status, can be taught. Absolute Sleep looked like it didn't have much effect, but it was actually very strong. In fact, after the pet entered the beast taming space, its state was similar to this Absolute Sleep. It could be said that if a wild pet mastered this skill, it was equivalent to carrying a partially functioning beast taming space with them. Moreover, it was a high-level beast taming space. Generally speaking, even if it was initial level Absolute Sleep, the effect on the physical recovery of the pet should be greater than the beast taming space of the beast trainer-trainee. If 11 learned this, apart from some special circumstances, it basically didn't need to return to Shiyu's beast taming space to rest at all. Unless Shiyu could increase the level of the beast taming space. However, Shiyu kept feeling that the speed at which he increased the level of the beast taming space might not necessarily be faster than the speed at which 11 increased the Absolute Sleep proficiency. In short, after teaching 11 this skill, as long as he had enough food to ensure its nutrition, coupled with absolute sleep and high-speed healing, 11 could completely train on his own, and the training efficiency would be very high. At the same time, if 11 didn't rely on the beast taming space to rest, Shiyu, the beast tamer would have more time and energy to strengthen the beast taming space and increase his beast tamer level. This felt very right. Beast tamers should grow up along with their pets. Otherwise, when 11 was already at the transcendent level, his beast tamer level would still be that of an apprentice. That would be awkward. Woo! After Shi Yu introduced the skill, 11 opened its eyes. This skill was good. Not only that, after this skill's proficiency is higher, it can be used in battle. The absolute sleep recovery speed of low proficiency was relatively slow, and the recovery efficiency was low. However, the absolute sleep of high proficiency might only require a short nap to recover a lot of physical fitness. At that time, when we encounter the enemy, we can directly multiply, harden, and charge forward with thunder palms. If you're injured, heal yourself with high-speed healing. When you run out of stamina, quickly shrink and sleep. Continue fighting after being woken up. Have you learned it? 11 nodded crazily. 11 understood. This strategy was pretty good. That day, Shi Yu ate divine beans and drank happy water. He watched 11 train on its own and recuperate. He also concluded a life realization: it was awesome to spend money all the time. With money, both Shi Yu and his 2 pets were clearly more comfortable. He had taught 2 high-level skills in 2 days. He could still use his energy to teach Worm Silk every night. This was something Shi Yu did not dare to imagine. On the 3rd of August, Shi Yu originally wanted to repeat yesterday's routine and continue teaching deterrence. However, although there were supplements, Shi Yu couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable letting his body be put through this stress for 2 consecutive days. Psychological factors were his concern. Forget it, I'll take a day off today to teach a low-level skill to relax. In addition, he had previously promised to pay a visit to the Bamboo Stone Dojo when he was free. In the end, it had been 2 days and he had yet to leave. It was time to take a look. After all, the dojo seemed to have prepared training resources for the iron-eating beasts. It would be a waste not to. Bamboo Stone Dojo was also in Pingcheng. If Shi Yu took a taxi, he could reach it in half an hour. However, before going, Shi Yu first investigated Bamboo Stone Dojo's phone number. He planned to make an appointment before visiting, in case the one in charge wasn't around when he arrived. That would be boring. Inside the Bamboo Stone Dojo was one of the iron-eating beasts' headquarters in Donghuang. The owner of the dojo, Lin Hongnian, was a rare master-level beast tamer in Icefield City. Although he didn't become an expert-level title because of an iron-eating beast, nor was his strongest pet, his representative pet was undoubtedly the iron-eating beast. The iron-eating beast was the first pet Lin Hongnian had contracted. Because of this relationship, he had always hoped to find a better cultivation method or even an evolution method for the iron-eating beast. Unfortunately, due to race restrictions, it had always been difficult for the iron-eating beast to break through a certain bottleneck. It was the same even if he had developed 2 skills of other races that were very suitable for the iron-eating beasts to learn. Over time, even if Lin Hongnian contracted a stronger pet, he couldn't let go of this thought. In the end, Lin Hongnian did not give up. On the basis of inheriting the iron bamboo breeding base of the family, he chose to open a Bamboo Stone Dojo and recruit disciples widely. As long as it was a beast tamer who contracted an iron-eating beast, they could join the Bamboo Stone Dojo to learn. Talented apprentices even had the chance to come into contact with Thunder Palm and Cannon Fist manuals. He hoped to use this method to nurture more powerful iron-eating beast tamers. At that time, more people would nurture iron-eating beasts. Perhaps, there would be people more talented than him who could find a better cultivation route for iron-eating beasts. In the training ground of Bamboo Stone Dojo, 10 apprentices of different ages were undergoing training with their iron-eating beast. Bamboo Stone Dojo only accepted initial-level apprentices and provided basic training content. After becoming a professional beast tamer, one was almost considered to have graduated. However, there were also apprentices like Little Bear Yang Chi who gave up halfway after failing the vocation assessment. Of course, this was only for ordinary apprentices. For talented apprentices, Hall Master Lin Hongnian would take them in as his personal disciples and teach them seriously without holding back. Unfortunately, apart from his own daughter, no iron-eating beast tamer had been able to enjoy the teachings as a personal disciple. Although he had cultivated a bunch of professional beast tamers, Lin Hongnian still couldn't find a disciple worth teaching with all his might. Until Lu Qingyi found one and entrusted Lin Hongnian to help take care of him. Since he had agreed to the request, no matter how talented or untalented that person was, Lin Hongnian would definitely do his best to teach him. After all, his 2 mid-level skill manuals were nothing compared to someone like Dr. Lu. Then, Lin Hongnian heard little bear Yang Qi mention Shi Yu. In less than a month, he had reached expert-level hardening. Genius! Moreover, if it was related to a genius like Dr. Lu, his future was immeasurable. It was entirely possible to nurture the iron-eating beast to the level of a monarch. Such a genius beast tamer, even if he had no relationship to Lu Qingyi. He had to teach with all his might. Lin Hongnian thought so at the start. However, when Yang Qi, the little bear, told him that Shi Yu and the others had learned the Thunder Palm in a day, Lin Hongnian understood. Sorry, he didn't deserve to teach this person. He himself also wanted to know how to rely on the electric slime and electric mineral to learn the Thunder Palm in a day. Father! On the high platform of the training ground, Lin Xiaozhu looked at his father, who was looking at the training ground below, and said in a low voice, "Let's eat outside at noon, we'll go to the Dragon Palace fish plant." Lin Hongnian frowned and said, "Have you completed your daily training?" Lin Xiaozhu was speechless. Lin Hongnian looked at his disobedient daughter and felt a wave of regret. Originally, under his guidance, Lin Xiaozhu had a great prospect of passing the professional beast tamer assessment at the age of 18. Perhaps she could surpass him and nurture the iron-eating beast to the level of a monarch. However, who knew that Lin Xiaozhu would actually choose the feeding specialization and even choose to study the evolution research department of the Iron Eater? At that time, he didn't know what had gotten into him to agree. As for the outcome, Lin Xiaozhu didn't get on either side. Her strength fell, and she didn't research any results on the evolution path. "We'll talk about it after your training is completed," Lin Hongnian said seriously and meticulously. "But Mom wants to eat fish," Lin Xiaozhu said. "Not me." Lin Hongnian was silent for a moment. Just this time, then. "You can't waste your training in the future." Lin Xiaozhu. Just as the father and daughter were discussing what to eat for lunch, a dojo apprentice rushed over. "Master Lin, a beast tamer named Shi Yu said that he might come to visit today and ask if you're free." Chapter 49, Visit Skills at the same time. Second, he had to consider whether the energy of the 2 skills would conflict. If he wanted to resolve these contradictions, there was no doubt that he had to solve them by increasing the proficiency of his skills. Only when the proficiency of the skill was enough and the pet was extremely familiar with a certain skill could this skill be combined with other skills to be used. The higher the skill proficiency, the higher the combination skill completion. There was a saying in the beast taming domain, combination skills might not be the strongest, but the strongest skills must be combination skills. Therefore, on the basis of this sentence, the high-level beast tamers gave the combination skill of 2 and more perfect level skills a name, called profundity. Whether a pet could master the profundities was often the most critical factor in evaluating the level of cultivation of a beast tamer in a higher field. It was clearly a little early for Shi Yu, who wasn't even a professional beast tamer. It was even very early for professional beast tamers. After all, even ordinary professional beast tamers might not necessarily be able to train their pet skills to perfect proficiency. However, because he thought highly of Shi Yu's talent, Lin Hongnian still chose to broaden Shi Yu's horizons in advance. He hoped that Shi Yu could work hard in this direction. At the side, after Lin Xiaozhu finished introducing the profundities of the thunder armor, Lin Hongnian looked at Shi Yu without leaving any trace, waiting for Shi Yu's shocked expression. Geniuses were geniuses, but being compared to a senior like him who had sufficient accumulation, he was definitely still a little lacking. This experience could be used by Shi Yu and the others. However, Shi Yu's next words made Lin Hongnian's heart skip a beat. This thunder armor feels like it can still be improved. Shiyu discovered the flaw in the thunder armor. Why do you say that? Lin Xiaoyu didn't understand. Because the iron-eating beast's vision isn't very good. With the speed just now, I wonder if it can control its movements well. The strong iron-eating beast beside him was stunned. Lin Hongnian was also stunned. How could there be perfection? It was already very fragrant to have this move to deal with opponents with large bodies and not good speed. Shiyu added, if there's a perception skill that can predict the enemy's movements or clearly capture the enemy's position, the effect of the thunder armor might be stronger. He looked at 11. Perfect level hardening plus perfect level thunder palm plus perfect level super sight. This felt like the perfect thunder armor profundity. However, this was more like a 3-skill profundity. As for facing a large-sized opponent, wouldn't it be better if it was perfect level hardening plus perfect level thunder palm plus perfect level multiplication? The key is that it's not easy for iron-eating beasts to learn perception skills. Lin Hongnian's face was speechless. Did this person think learning skills was that simple? He could go ahead and try learning it if he wanted. However, your idea is pretty good. Every profundity isn't perfect. It has its own flaws and shortcomings. By integrating new skills into the combination profundities, it can increase the effect of the profundities. Of course, this is still too far from you. Your current goal should be to train the iron-eating beast to increase the proficiency of the thunder palm. Then, try the simple combination of hardening and thunder palm. It's not easy to increase the proficiency of thunder palm. After all, this skill isn't an iron-eating beast's racial skill. From initial level to proficient level, the palm needs to have extremely strong endurance and lightning resistance. To be proficient in it, the pet needs to have strong energy control and strong physical support. As for going from expert level to perfection, during the training process, a single mistake will cause the pet to be covered in injuries. The training process is extremely dangerous. Every step is very particular. In short, if you have any problems in your cultivation, come and find me. Although he had shown Shiyu the characteristics of the thunder palm at each proficiency stage, there were still many ways to practice in this direction. All right, I'll work hard. Shiyu nodded. At the side, little iron-eating beast 11 kept feeling that the two of them weren't on the same wavelength. It was right. Lin Hongnian thought that he would first let Shiyu develop a normal combination skill that was proficient in hardening and proficient in the thunder palm. This skill was enough for Shiyu to pass the vocation assessment in the future. Shiyu was thinking about when he could reach perfect hardening, perfect thunder palm, and perfect multiplication to directly activate the thunder god armor mode. He could destroy a city with one strike. Skill index really was a good thing. Then, Sister Panda began to introduce Shiyu and the others to the training hall facilities. There were all kinds of targeted equipment to train the iron-eating beasts, but 11 felt that it was a little boring. It didn't look as ferocious as jumping off a building. One of the rooms was an electricity generation training room specially designed for iron-eating beasts to train their lightning resistance. The highest it could provide was transcendent level electricity. There was also an electric swimming pool nearby. Not only could it train the iron-eating beasts to fight in the water, but it could also increase their lightning resistance. 11 liked it a lot. Apart from that, things like the canteen and infirmary were standard. Shiyu looked around and nodded. If he could use the equipment here, it would indeed be more scientific and comprehensive than the iron-eating beast working itself to death. Most importantly, they could eat and drink for free here. In order to find out what the food in the dojo was, Shiyu deliberately stayed until it was time for dinner today. Father! Lin Hongnian was hurriedly summarizing his insights into cultivating iron-eating beasts, planning to give it to Shiyu before he left. At this moment, Lin Xiaoyu knocked on the door and entered. Have they finished eating? Lin Hongnian asked. It's still to their liking, right? Lin Xiaoyu pondered. It should be very suitable. Shiyu is all right. That little metal-eating beast ate a lot. Lin Hongnian smiled and said, if it really is as self-disciplined as you say, it probably will have a lot of exercise. It's normal to eat a little more. Lin Xiaozhu said, electricity mine, iron bamboo, iron heartwood, gold spirit mine spring, and the growth package of the special gold and lightning dual element energy crystals in our dojo. It ate the double portion of normal iron-eating beast training. Lin Hongnian raised his brows. That is indeed a lot, but that's normal. But this is only their appetite in the afternoon when they only fought one battle and didn't do any training. Lin Hongnian fell into deep thought. He felt that he had to prepare more food resources in the future. However, it wasn't a big problem. He still had enough food. It was just an awakening stage iron-eating beast. No matter how much nutrition was needed, would it be more than when it needed to grow into a commander rank iron-eating beast? At the same time, Shiyu was taking a walk in the martial arts hall. He was in a good mood. With the guarantee of absolute sleep and accelerated digestion in the beast-taming space, he didn't have to worry about 11 eating too much. He could completely absorb the nutrition. At this speed, he was confident that he could nurture 11 to transcendent level in a few months. In this world, the average lifespan of iron-eating beasts was around 35 years old. Usually, when wild iron-eating beasts had sufficient nutrition and good growth conditions, it would take about 10 years for them to naturally grow to the transcendent level. Generally speaking, iron-eating beasts around this age had long become adults. They were in their mature prime and could be considered the normal growth speed of the iron-eating beasts. As for the iron-eating beasts with beast tamers, they could accelerate the process. For example, 11. It looked like there was hope of accelerating his growth to the transcendent level before it became 2 years old. In the vocation assessment, there's no need to worry too much about 11's level, but my own level. Shiyu stopped. It looked like he had to see if there were any cultivation resources that beast tamers could use. Just the supplements weren't enough. In the evening, Shiyu planned to bid farewell to Lin Hongnian and Lin Xiaozhu and go home for the night. After all, there seemed to be a worm at home that he needed to feed. Before leaving, Lin Xiaozhu handed the Metal-Eating Beast Advanced Training Manual to Shiyu. This contains the training method for each stage of the Thunder Palm. Remember to keep it well. All the best! After Lin Xiaozhu handed the skill manual to Shiyu, he waved his fist. She could tell that her father had placed all his hopes on Shiyu, hoping that Shiyu would nurture the iron-eating beast to break through the racial limit. Shiyu took the skill training manual and looked at Lin Xiaozhu. Don't worry. As long as there was enough food in the dojo, 11 would not disappoint everyone's expectations. Otherwise, 11 would not feel at ease eating this meal. 11 wasn't like him, who could accept everything with a clear conscience. It was said that after a beast tamer and their pets contracted for a long time, their personalities would affect each other. Shiyu was also very curious as to who could affect whom between him and 11. At night, when Shiyu returned home, the green worm was still sleeping. Apart from eating, this guy slept. He was even more of an iron-eating beast than 11. Since it was sleeping, Shiyu decided not to feed him anymore. After a simple shower, Shiyu prepared supplements and called 11 over. Woo! After so many times, according to Shiyu's tone, 11 knew what he wanted to do to it. 11 obediently ran over to the training hall. After staying at the Bamboo Stone Dojo for the whole afternoon, it had an eye-opener. The attitude displayed by Lin Hongnian's iron-eating beast deeply attracted little 11. 11, come on, beast tamer. Show me your limits. You're getting more and more accepting. Shiyu was speechless. However, in 11's opinion, it was just harvesting results in advance. It was overdrafting consumption, training, and sweat before replenishing it. Was there a problem? No problem. Skill, Thunder Palm. Skill level, Intermediate. Introduction, it's a Thunder-type skill. It gathers high-intensity electricity in the palm, making the palm like a sharp blade with strong penetration power. It has a paralyzing effect. Status, can be taught. Shiyu had a day off today and planned to only teach mid-level skills. Buzz. After Shiyu added the points, 11's Thunder Palm proficiency immediately went from initial level to proficient level. As for Shiyu, he fell asleep after drinking less than half a cup of honey milk. 11 looked at Shiyu and dragged him to the bed. After covering him with the blanket, it immediately ran into the courtyard. The long night was coming, but 11 had absolute sleep at its side. Did it care about the night? It didn't care. Tonight, it was going to train hard and combine the Thunder Palm and hardening. Tonight would pass like this, night after night. Chapter 53, Panda King 11. Chapter 53, Panda King 11. On August 4th, early in the morning, hunger woke Shiyu up. When a weakened person skipped just one meal, the hunger would be unbearable. They had to be full in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Shiyu yawned and stretched before getting out of bed. Shiyu put on his cat slippers and pushed the door open. In the courtyard, Shiyu wasn't sure if 11 had slept that night. When he went out, he happened to see 11 sitting under the tree thinking about bear life. In the birdcage on the tree, the green worm looked at 11 quietly because it didn't sleep as soundly as Shiyu. It was woken up by this bear. Gee! The green worm shed tears. Not only had it seen the steel plate training at 4 in the morning, it had also seen the iron-eating beast that stayed up late to discharge electricity. Under the moonlight, the lightning was dazzling, like thousands of birds crying together. How could it sleep? What's wrong? Shiyu casually asked 11. Woo! 11 turned around and stretched out her hand. It meant that it was so difficult to combine hardening and Thunder Palm. It seemed a little difficult to assemble the expert-level hardening and proficient-level Thunder Palm. It studied for the entire night. It tried supper plus absolute sleep plus constant trying, but it still didn't successfully complete the combination skill. Then the skill proficiency is still lacking. It's alright, let's eat first. I'll give you some more later. You can make it up after you work hard. What a beast tamer who was good at understanding his panda's will. Using this breakfast, Shiyu got 11 and the green silkworm to destroy the remaining food resources in the house. After that, he would just go to the dojo to eat. However, the dojo was too far away. It was a waste of time to go there every day. After all, he might not necessarily need to use the training equipment of the dojo every day. Well, he would go and ask later if they provided packing and take-out services. That day, Shiyu arrived at the dojo again. However, this time, not only was Panda Senior not around, but Lin Hongnian was also preparing to go out. This was also normal. Senior Panda spent most of her time studying iron-eating beasts in the breeding base. Meanwhile, as a master-level beast tamer, it was impossible for Lin Hongnian to stay in the martial arts hall all the time. Shiyu, you participated in the assessment at Mount Tuanmang, so you probably want to explore that ruin. Before leaving, Lin Hongnian asked. Yes. Shiyu nodded. According to the feedback of the beast tamer trainees in the beast tamer troops, that ruin is indeed very suitable for training. With your strength, you might have an unexpected gain. Jiang Rui and the others will also explore the ruins this time. You guys can compete again. Lin Hongnian looked in the direction of the snow mountain and sighed slightly. I'm leaving Pingcheng for a period of time. If you have anything you don't understand in the martial arts hall, you can ask Shuju directly. Master Lin left in a hurry, and Shiyu had yet to ask if there was any delivery service at the dojo. Helpless, he could only run to the canteen to ask. In the canteen, the middle-aged man said, of course. Most of the iron-eating beast nutritional supplements and food in Pingcheng, no, Icefield City are basically ordered here. There has to be a delivery service. Hall Master Lin said that you can freely use the cultivation resources of the dojo and support delivery. You just need to tell me the number, address, and delivery time. All right. Thank you. When he heard that it could be delivered to his door, Shiyu immediately felt comfortable. Then, he would first order 3 times the normal iron-eating beast's appetite daily. However, from the looks of it, Panda Senior's family was more generous than he imagined. That made sense. How could a normal family afford a private panda breeding base? After making an appointment for 3 days of food resources, Shiyu left the dojo. 3 more days. There were still 3 days to the exploration of the ruins organized by the Beast Tamer Association. On August 7th, Shiyu could follow the large group into the ruins. Because he had heard that it was a trial-type ruin, Shiyu decided to take advantage of the past 3 days to desperately increase 11's strength again using the skill index. Now that he had so many supplements, food, and nutritional supplements, 11's strength could definitely welcome an explosive increase. After returning, Shiyu directly prepared all the supplements and started teaching 11 how to use deterrence. He planned to first teach all the high-level skills before helping 11 increase the proficiency of Hardening and Thunder Palm to complete the combination skill. 11 covered its eyes and left a gap to silently bear the weight. Skill, Deterrence. Skill level, Advanced. Introduction, it's a spiritual skill. It can intimidate, overwhelm, and lead creatures with its aura. It can also make creatures much weaker than itself faint. It's a symbol of king aptitude. Status, can be taught. At a certain level, the deterrent skill could actually be said to be a common skill. Transcendent creatures above the level of monarchs could automatically awaken it. However, among awakened, transcendent, and commander rank pets, it would be very impressive if they could master deterrence. It had not grown to the level of a monarch, but it could grasp deterrence in advance. This almost represented that this pet had the potential of a monarch. As the largest official breeding base in Icefield City, there were really crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Powerful beasts all around them. It seemed that the owner of that snow wolf was not simple either. Shiyu didn't know much about deterrent skills. He only knew the symbol effect of deterring for the first 3 proficiency stages. Initial level, intimidate the opponent, weaken the opponent's fighting spirit, and increase one's own willpower. It has a certain commanding effect on creatures of the same race. Proficient level, it can directly destroy the opponent's will and stun the opponent, causing mental damage. Expert level, can carry out a large-scale deterrence. A glance can make countless creatures faint with spiritual aura. As for perfect level proficiency and transcendent level proficiency, he really couldn't find it on his cell phone. However, Shiyu could guess it pretty easily. In short, being classified as an advanced level skill, the skill potential was naturally very high. Teach. From today onwards, you are the Panda King, 11. Shiyu reached out and touched 11's head. As the light flowed in, Shiyu swallowed the divine bin with difficulty before heaving a sigh of relief. At this moment, in the empty courtyard, as Shiyu completed his teaching, 11 closed his eyes to receive the experience. Time seemed to have stopped. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. A moment later, 11 opened its eyes. The fallen leaves on the ground trembled. There was clearly no wind, but all the leaves rustled. The scene was extremely abnormal. Boom! A moment later, 11 opened its eyes. The fallen leaves on the ground trembled without wind. There was clearly no wind, but all the leaves rustled. The scene was extremely abnormal. A young little king of beasts was still a king. 11 opened its bright eyes. Every movement revealed a natural domineering aura, blooming with a ferocity that made one's heart tremble. That's it? However, 11 soon couldn't hold it in anymore and was questioned by the Beast Tamer. Shiyu looked at the strange and cute iron-eating beast in front of him and did not feel the aura at all. Damn, the appearance of the iron-eating beast cub was too harmless. Even with the support of mental deterrence, the effect was limited at the moment. It seemed that 11 had to grow up a little or multiply in order to make the enemy truly afraid in terms of vision. Woo! 11 cancelled the uncontrollable deterrent skill and showed an aggrieved expression. This skill didn't feel that useful. It didn't understand the effect. Gee! However, just as Shiyu and 11 were complaining that the deterrent skill was still waiting to be upgraded, the green worm with white eyes fell from the tree. It had been affected by the deterrence. Looking at the green worm that had fainted on the pile of leaves, Shiyu and 11 fell into deep thought. Shiyu, deterrent skill. Isn't it only at the proficient level that there's a certain level of mental shock effect? But this green silkworm. The corners of his mouth quickly twitched as he understood. The weakest of the pet world. As expected of you, you can be scared even by this? Chapter 54, Combination Skill Success. Chapter 54, The Combination Skill Success. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. For the current 11, the practical value of the deterrent skill was temporarily not comparable to the absolute sleep and multiplication skills. Of course, compared to the combination skill of hardening and thunder palm, its value was temporarily inferior as well. Therefore, after thinking about it, Shiyu decided to continue following the original plan and help 11 perfect the first combination skill. According to the standard, the combination of two perfect level skills was called a profundity. This standard was still a little early for 11. It was mainly because Shiyu's body couldn't hold on, and the supplements might not be enough. Therefore, they planned to pursue ordinary combination skills first. In theory, as long as the proficiency of the two skills were above the proficient level and the skills were compatible, there was a hope of forming a combination skill. Lin Hongnian hadn't told Shiyu the minimum requirements for the hardening and thunder palm combination skill. Expert level hardening and proficient level thunder palm. 11 had already reached this threshold, but even if it was the same proficiency, there would definitely be a gap. Although he had reached the minimum standard, after a night of hard work, 11 realized that he was clearly lacking in firepower to complete the combination skill. What else could he do? Continue training? No, continue increasing his points. Shiyu also went for it with all his strength. After teaching deterrence, he swallowed a divine bean and gulped down the happy water. He finished most of the remaining bottles from yesterday. Just like that, there were 2 more of the 5 divine beans left. There was still a third of the bottle of 100 flower queen bees happy water left. As for baby ginseng's 5 roots, they hadn't been touched yet. It was almost nightfall when Shiyu recovered and planned to teach 11 thunder palm again. Woo! In the courtyard, Shiyu and 11 looked at each other. 11, who had trained independently for a long time, looked at Shiyu and took a step back. Although it said that it wanted to see the limits of beast tamers. However, judging from Shiyu's appearance, it was very afraid that Shiyu would suddenly die. The frequency of teaching skills was much higher than before. 11 took another small step back and turned around. Forget it, I'll train myself first. Shiyu decided to go for it. It's not a big problem. Shiyu reached out and pulled 11 back. He could still hold on. If he didn't work hard despite having a cheat, he was no different from a salted fish. It was mainly because of the strengthening feedback from the skill index that he recovered very well every time. Therefore, as long as there were supplements, he could still persist. The skill index was not only a pet strengthening cheat, but also his strengthening cheat. After teaching for so long, every time his weakened state recovered, Shiyu could feel that he was slowly becoming stronger. It wasn't that the various attributes of the beast-taming space in the beast-tamer system had become stronger. Instead, Shiyu felt that his physique was becoming stronger. Every time he recovered from his weakened state, he would be full of strength. Although the one-time increase was not as obvious as the feedback from when the pets became stronger, the frequency was higher. After all, it was not easy for a pet to level up even once. However, teaching a skill once and recovering from a weakened state took less than a day or 2. It looked like every time he finished teaching the skill, Shiyu was recuperating, but this process, in terms of training, was really often. Therefore, frequently using the skill index and supplements, Shiyu didn't just upgrade his pet. During this process, he was also strengthening his physique. Although the increase in the current feedback effect wasn't very large, and his physique hadn't undergone a qualitative change like that of a professional beast tamer, it would accumulate. After all, it had only been less than a month. Shiyu's final goal was to be like the protagonist of a certain cartoon where he could fight against pet skills with his body. 1. At that time, he could directly transform into a super earthling. When he courted death, his safety would also greatly increase. Why do I subconsciously want to court death? Shiyu fell into deep thought. Perhaps. Although courting death was very dangerous, it was also very joyful. 1. In short, with so many supplements now, it would be a waste not to use the skill index. It was not only to make 11 stronger quickly, but also to have a good body. The price of strengthening the body was to fall into a weakened state first. It was a little painful. Shiyu sighed slightly. Then, he opened the Thunder Palm page again and chose to teach. Pa. He pressed a palm on 11's head. After the teaching was completed, Shiyu's eyes sank in. He was tired. He was much more tired than after teaching the worm silk. He wished he could never wake up again. Shiyu was so shocked that he hurriedly chewed the whiskers of a ginseng baby to calm himself down. This thing's recovery is so slow. After the teaching was completed, Shiyu stared at the words, "cool down time," and felt that the time was altered even less than the joy water. As expected of the cheapest supplement he had bought. However, no matter how cheap it was still worth 50,000 yuan. Shiyu compared it with the price of the divine beans and the honey. He felt that baby ginseng's whiskers should be able to recover from at least 40 hours of weakness. Next, it was time to wait for his body to recover to its peak condition. Shiyu glanced at the sky and decided to wait in his sleep. Woo! At this moment, 11 was almost done accepting the Thunder Palm experience. Its previous Thunder Palm was at the proficient level. After this, its proficiency level increased. If Shiyu wasn't wrong, the next time he taught Thunder Palm, its proficiency in Thunder Palm would increase to expert level. At this moment, after sensing a new understanding of the Thunder Palm, 11's eyes lit up with vitality. He couldn't wait to try the combination skill. 1. G. However, a certain pet seemed to be very uncomfortable. In the bird cage on the tree in the courtyard, the green silkworm, which had recovered from its fainting state, looked at 11, aggrieved. G. Don't come over. It just wanted to sleep soundly. Was it that difficult? Buggy cried. It looked at the round moon and looked at Shiyu for help. Shiyu? Cough. Shiyu made a decision. It seemed that 11 was indeed too hard-working. Although there was enough food and the absolute sleep skill for it to quickly recover stamina, its mental health should be taken care of too. All right. Shiyu pulled 11 back and said, in any case, with absolute sleep, you don't have to return to the beast-taming space. You rest for the night. Coincidentally, I want to sleep on a panda pillow. Under the greenworm's grateful gaze, Shiyu dragged the confused 11 into the house. In the room, Shiyu stroked Panda 11's hair at an astonishing speed. Then, he shook its head and made it shrink. Then, Shiyu touched 11's hair again. As expected, the softness was more suitable, and the size was more suitable. Tonight, he would be rewarded with a night of sleep with a panda pillow. On another day, he would reward himself with the panda bed after having 11 become big. Woo! 11 originally wanted to resist and train. However, Shiyu completely fell asleep and lay on it. 11 was slightly stunned. It knew that he couldn't train tonight. Next, in order not to wake the weak beast tamer, it could only slowly relax its body and soften its body. In the end, it gradually closed its eyes. The next day, at 4 in the morning. I hate it. Shiyu looked at 11, who was planning to get up and train, angrily. He supported his chin on the bed and watched it quietly. Woo! 11 looked at Shiyu seriously. It had rested enough. It was time to train. Together? What a pain, Shiyu rubbed his eyes. 11 didn't need to enter the beast-taming space anymore, but it had become his time alarm. However, as he had recovered pretty well, Shiyu simply got up after sighing. August 5th. Shiyu taught 11 Thunder Palm again. 11's Thunder Palm directly entered the expert level. At this moment, it could already control the lightning energy with both hands. However, due to the restriction on its growth level, its physical fitness still couldn't keep up, and it couldn't maintain the normal Thunder Palm for a long time. Shiyu felt that, he might have to find a physical strengthening skill for 11. As if hearing Shiyu's request, 11 underwent a growth transformation today and finally reached level 7 awakening. In a month, it went from level 3 to level 7. The growth was astonishing. However, these weren't the greatest gains. The greatest gain was that after the Thunder Palm reached the expert level, there was no need for 11 to practice too much. Hardening and the Thunder Palm formed naturally. Gee. In the courtyard, 11 looked at the blue and white electric current on its hardened palm and was pleasantly surprised. The strength of the hardening, in addition to the penetration power of the lightning. It was considered a dual physical and elemental attack. In terms of destructive power, the unpalatable steel plates at home had become experimental subjects. Bang! 11 could already easily penetrate the steel plate with one palm. Woo! Looking at the broken steel plate on the ground, 11 let out a king's cry. It swelled. If it encountered that elite iron-eating beast again, it would definitely be able to insta-kill it. The Panda King had to beat down Elite Guy. His name is Jiang Rui, not Elite Guy. Eat the steel plate, don't waste it. Shiyu was fussing at the side. Although he was rich now, he still had to maintain his frugal spirit. The expanding panda looked rather aggrieved. Chapter 55, Departure. Chapter 55, Departure. On the day that 11 completed the initial hardening and lightning palm combination skill, Shiyu used the ginseng baby whiskers to replenish his health again. In the afternoon, he taught hardening again without any burden. This time, it was considered the third lesson on the foundation of 11's expert level hardening. After that, Shiyu's teaching intensity temporarily decreased. They were about to enter the ruins the day after tomorrow. Although there were supplements, they had to control themselves a little. After all, the weakened state still had some psychological impact. It didn't matter if he had a good physique. Shiyu felt tired. Beast tamers had to worry about their lives. Relying on the happy water to replenish his energy for the night, Shiyu taught the worm silk skill again before sleeping. August 6th. Shiyu's teaching frequency slowed down again. He only taught hardening once during the day. In addition to the worm silk that night, with the supplements, his condition was basically adjusted to its optimal state. In short, after the assessment at Mount Tuanmang ended, Shiyu basically spent the entire week at home to increase his strength. Apart from going to Bamboo Stone Dojo a few times, he didn't go anywhere else. And the achievements he obtained were naturally extraordinary. Name: Iron-eating beast. Level of growth, level 7 awakening. Skill: hardening, expert +4, Thunder Palm, expert, super sight, proficient, high speed healing, proficient, deterrence, initiate, absolute sleep, initiate, multiplication, initiate. Name: Green Silkworm. Level of growth, level 7 awakening. Skill: worm silk, expert +6. Up to now, 11 had already mastered 2 expert level skills, 2 proficient level skills, and 3 entry-level high-level skills. Among them, one of the 2 expert skills was a mid-level skill. Although the other was a low-level skill, it was 11's own racial skill. Moreover, it was taught for more times by the skill index after reaching expert level. It could be said that although 11's growth level was only at level 7, in terms of battle power, Shiyu felt that it was comparable to the cub of a monarch-level transcendent creature of the same race. As 11's beast tamer, Shiyu really wanted to retreat strategically. This little guy was already invincible among its peers. At this strengthening speed, 11 was getting out of control. Well, as for being comparable to a young divine beast, Shiyu didn't have any fantasies. After all, he didn't know how powerful a young divine beast was. To be precise, he didn't know much about the cubs of monarch and overlord level creatures. As for the green silkworm, it had been taught so many times that its growth speed was naturally very fast. After the worm's silk expert level, it basically increased its growth level every 2 times he used Teach Him on it. Its growth speed was far faster than 11's, and it had directly caught up to 11's growth level. Of course, this was also related to the fact that it was an insect-type creature. Although its growth level had increased, its battle power was obviously weak. As a result, Shiyu did not pay much attention to the changes in its growth level. After all, before its evolution, the growth level of the green worm had no reference value. After entering the ruins, I'll see if there are suitable evolution materials inside. If there are any gains. On the morning of August 7th, Shiyu said to the dispirited green silkworm. If he had any gains, he felt that he could take the time to nurture the worm next. After all, if he could nurture a monarch-level green silkworm to evolve, he would have a second contracted pet. At that time, it and 11 would be a pretty cool combination. Gee! Shiyu welcomed the green silkworm's cry filled with complicated emotions. Today was the day that the professional Ju Wanshan of the training base at Mount Tuanmang mentioned to lead the candidates into the ruins. Shiyu asked around these 2 days. Combined with Lu Qingyi's introduction previously, he had a deeper understanding of this ruin. Only beast trainers with a level 1 beast taming space could enter this ruin steadily. Apart from beast tamers of this level and their contracted pets, any other creature that entered either caused the instability of the ruins or couldn't see anything after entering. They also couldn't come into contact with the things inside the ruins. As he had obtained information about the interior of the ruins, Shiyu considered it for a moment. For the time being, he did not bring the burden, the green silkworm, along with him like he did during the previous training. Mainly, because there was no connection to the beast taming space, he could not guarantee that the green silkworm could successfully enter the ruins and not leave him at all times. In short, this place was very strange. It was so strange that it seemed to have been specially customized for Shiyu. It was very difficult for Shiyu not to guess that someone was behind this, waiting for him to explore. It seemed like an unknown life form was controlling the ruins, as if it wanted to test Shiyu. This was Shiyu's guess. After all, no matter what, this ruin was awakened by him. Of course, it was also possible that it wasn't a life form, but the spirit Lu Qingyi mentioned, which was also a trace of history that produced consciousness. Until now, no one had been able to completely research a consciousness-like spirit. Early in the morning, Shiyu returned 11 to the beast taming space at home and headed to the Beast Tamer Association with some anticipation. No matter what secret was hidden in this ruin, he, the mythical scholar, the archaeologist, and the beast tamer, Shiyu, had decided to explore it. He had to finish exploring the ruins he had summoned even if he had to cry. This day has finally come. The archaeological soul in Shiyu's body became active again. Indeed, it was better to go out and court death. After this addiction, he would definitely develop well and lead a stable life. That morning, about 80 people gathered at the designated location of the Beast Tamer Association. These 80 people were all elites among the beast tamers in Pingcheng. Their pets' growth levels were basically above level 7. Moreover, their species level was not low, and they had proficient racial skills. Most of these people were geniuses who had passed the Beast Tamer Association's assessment. Apart from those who accepted the assessment and obtained spots, there were also candidates directly recommended by the local dojos and schools. For example, apprentices like Jiang Rui from the Bamboo Stone Dojo were recommended by the Bamboo Stone Dojo. They could follow this trip directly into the ruins to explore. To be precise, this exploration was the third exploration of the Beast Tamer Association in Pingcheng. The first exploration was when the ruins first appeared. Beast tamers of various levels in the vicinity came to study the ruins. During that exploration, they discovered the secret that only trainee beast tamers could better excavate the ruins. The second exploration was when the Beast Tamer Association of Pingcheng mobilized the elite soldiers of the local Beast Tamer Corps and sent them to explore the ruins. During this exploration, the Beast Tamer Association roughly understood what kind of ruins this was. This was the third large-scale exploration. The Beast Tamer Association of Pingcheng had organized outstanding beast tamers from all walks of life in Pingcheng. This exploration was a trial for the beast tamer trainees in Pingcheng, and also a gift. After all, according to the experience of the previous exploration, there was still a certain amount of rare resources in the ruins. Although it was very difficult to obtain, it did exist. Seizing the opportunity, every explorer had the hope of using this to increase their strength. I wonder if anyone in this batch of beast tamers can crack the ruins. In the tall building of the Beast Tamer Association, the president of the association in a grey suit silently watched the latest batch of explorers gathered below. This ruin had descended in Pingcheng. According to the Dong Huang Ruins method, the local Beast Tamer Association had the priority to explore. However, if the association of the region couldn't crack the ruins within a certain period of time and control it completely, the exploration rights of the ruins would gradually be opened. It would be publicized to the nearby districts, counties, and cities. At the moment, the priority to explore this ruin was still Pingcheng. But after a month, if they couldn't crack the ruins, the beast tamers in the other districts, counties, and even downtown areas of Icefield City could come and explore and share the pie. If it was still impossible to crack after a period of time, the beast tamers of the cities outside of Icefield City could also interfere in this ruin. At that time, the resources obtained would not belong to Pingcheng or even Icefield City. Therefore, the president of the Beast Tamer Association of Pingcheng hoped that the candidate to crack the ruins would appear in Pingcheng. This was because only in this way would Pingcheng City's Beast Tamer Association and Pingcheng gain more benefits. If he missed this opportunity to develop quickly, he might not encounter such a good thing again. A total of 3 familiar faces? There were only 80 people in total. After careful observation, it was still easy to recognize. Outside the Beast Tamer Association, Shiyu saw the top student, Chen Kai. This fellow was pretty lucky to have barely entered the top 20 of the assessment. In addition to Chen Kai, he also saw Jiang Rui from the Bamboo Stone Dojo and the other 4 apprentices. Because he had only fought Jiang Rui, he was more familiar with this person. Apart from them, Shiyu also saw the young doctor from the 100 Herb Hall's pharmacy beside his house. This fellow was also a beast tamer in turn. She was the one who had told Shiyu about the ruins. Shiyu didn't expect her to come too. To be precise, there was still a familiar face left. It was the judge who presided over the competition between him and Chen Kai that day, White Stone. He wasn't very old either, looking to be in his 20s. It looked like he was also a beast tamer in turn. However, for him to be a judge of the Battlefield Hall, apart from being a judge and a graduate of the venue management specialization, his strength must be pretty good. Everyone's here, right? Seeing that it was about time, a man in a grey suit with narrowed eyes walked out of the association. Seeing this person, the 80 beast trainers stopped talking. The president of the Beast Tamer Association in Pingcheng. Master-level beast tamer. Then let's go. He narrowed his eyes and said to his secretary beside him. Soon, the sound of a large car engine that had stopped outside the Beast Tamer Association rumbled as it started. Everyone, get in the car in an orderly manner. Next, I'll lead you to the entrance of the ruins. In the crowd, Shiyu followed in the car. Chen Kai, Jiang Rui, and the others also saw Shiyu, but because they had other companions, they only greeted Shiyu. However, the young doctor from the pharmacy was alone. He took the initiative to sit beside Shiyu. He said, "Good Lord, why are you here too? Your body, is it all right?" Although Shiyu had not bought supplements from him for nearly half a month, the young doctor still had a pretty deep impression of Shiyu. "There's nothing wrong with my body. It's very good," Shiyu said. The young doctor smiled, clearly not buying it. How could he buy medicine at that frequency if he was in good health? However, he didn't expect Shiyu to obtain the qualification to enter the ruins. It looked like he was still an inspirational beast trainer. It's strange. I don't know why, but recently, the refreshing capsules from various pharmacies have been selling very quickly. Our pharmacy is the same. Previously, I was worried that you would come over to buy it and run out of stock. The young doctor sighed. He was indeed lacking in goods a few days ago, but Shiyu happened to not come again. Shiyu was speechless. So fast? Previously, Chen Kai had done it because of him. It couldn't be this time, right? Well, it had nothing to do with him. Shiyu was just about to say something when he was suddenly interrupted. The president of the Pingcheng Association followed the beast tamers. At the front, like the tour guide, he looked at the rookies with a gentle smile. It will take us about 40 minutes to reach our destination. During this process, let me explain some things to take note of when exploring the ruins. You are all elites among the beast tamers in Ping Cheng. I really hope that you can obtain good gains in the ruins. Chapter 56, Entering the Ruins. Chapter 56, Entering the Ruins. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Icefield City, in a valley on the outskirts of Ping Cheng. There were already many layers of blockades established here. There was a beast tamer corps stationed here, and more than 10 professional beast tamers were present. Their goal was to protect the entrance of the ruins that appeared in the valley. Outside the silent valley, soldiers stood guard everywhere like towering rocks. They only turned when they heard the sound of a car driving. After discovering that it was a vehicle gifted by the Beast Tamer Association, a sergeant gave the order. "Let it in." The next moment, the pass at the sealed area opened, and the car Shiyu and the others were in successfully entered the valley. "We are here." After a bump, the group from the Beast Tamer Association finally arrived at their destination. In the car, Shiyu looked out the window and felt that the environment was unfamiliar. He had never been to this place before, but from the surrounding environment, it seemed to be pure natural, unlike Mount Tuanmang where there were signs of artificial modification. Such a place was usually more dangerous. I'm starting to look forward to it. Beside Shiyu, the young doctor, Qiao Liang, was overwhelmed with emotions. Ruins? I didn't expect to have the chance to come into contact with them. I originally planned to be a medicine seller for the rest of my life. Looks like there's still a chance to change my luck. If I don't gain anything this time, I won't struggle to be a professional beast tamer anymore. I might as well live in peace with my girlfriend who I had just gotten engaged to in her hometown. Qiao Liang looked at the photo of his girlfriend in his wallet and asked Shiyu, "You definitely don't have a partner yet, right?" Well, after all, his body was so weak. Which girl would like that? Shiyu shot him a glance and said, "Do you know what you're doing? In our hometown, your behavior is called setting flags." It was usually very difficult to return safely. They were showing off their love to him? Didn't they know that archaeologists were all wiped out in movies? Shiyu did not expect that this doctor was even better than him in establishing a flag. Ah! The doctor clearly realized that he had made too many red flags and couldn't help but feel guilty. Sigh. The association had already confirmed that the ruins aren't too dangerous. It should be fine, right? He thought. But speaking of which, the ruins this time have made those soldiers suffer. He hurriedly changed the topic. The Beast Tamer troops are strong because of their teamwork, but this ruin can only be explored independently, greatly weakening their performance. It's not surprising that they can't overcome the ruin. The young doctor looked at the Beast Tamer Corps probationary-level soldiers standing guard and resting in the outside camp and said, although their personal qualities are good in various aspects, they might not necessarily have an advantage over us in terms of pet cultivation. In this day and age, the beast tamers who went to the beast tamer troops basically had poor family conditions. They contracted the pets distributed by the association, received unified training, and used quantitative resources. Perhaps the teamwork, combat, willpower, and execution were very good, but after all, the resources the association could provide to the base members of the army were limited. Compared to some beast tamers who were willing to pay a lot of money to their pets, these soldiers would definitely be lacking in some aspects. Of course, it couldn't be ruled out that some beast tamers were rich and had also gone to accept the arduous training of the army camp. Such a big boss would indeed be very strong. However, such a person would only go to the special elite training camp in the city. It was unlikely that they would stay in a small Ping Cheng. If the Beast Tamer trainees of the Beast Tamer troops could level the ruins, the Beast Tamer Association of Ping Cheng wouldn't place their hopes on these Beast Tamer trainees from various fields anymore. Perhaps Shiyu had just finished speaking when he was immediately interrupted. All right, we've arrived at our destination. Let's get off. The car drove all the way outside the center of the blockade line, and as the president in the car stood up and spoke, the interned beast tamers in the car became restless. In accordance with the order, the beast tamers in the car started to get off. In the car just now, President Feng introduced the environment of the valley to everyone and the experience concluded by the soldiers of the beast troops entering the ruins. Therefore, when they got out of the car, everyone was already mentally prepared. So cold? But even so, the environment in the center of the valley still made many beast trainers shiver. It was as if there was no sunlight here and it was filled with cold mist. The people who got out of the car only felt that their vision was blurred. In the environment he was in, it seemed that he could only see a withered sun on the horizon. A thin layer of frost hung on the surrounding mountains, trees, and plants. This was under the premise that the surrounding camp had heating facilities. Otherwise, the surroundings would probably be even colder. According to President Feng, the elemental creatures in the ruins were mainly ice element creatures. At the moment, the ruin space and the blue planet space were in a half-overlapping state, so the internal situation affected the outside world. It wasn't just the temperature that was affected. Everyone looked at the 6 stone giant statues in the heavily sealed area, which were several meters tall, and the thing in the center that looked like a formation, and fell into deep thought. This was what appeared after the ruins overlapped with Blue Planet, the Earth that Shiyu was in right now. The formation protected in the middle by the 6 stone giants was the spatial door that led to the ruins. As for the 6 stone giant statues, they seemed to be guardians of the ruins, but they were clearly dead. When Shiyu saw the stone giant statues around the arena, he felt a little panicked. After all, this stone giant statue looked a little similar to the one in the Association Garden District. He had broken off the conversation with the previous one. Could these be its relatives or something? At the moment, as everyone looked at the 6 stone giant stone statues, they could clearly see that the first 2 stone statues flickered with light, while the other 4 were dim. President Feng of the Pingcheng Association stood forward and said, according to our guess, these 6 stone statues might represent the cracking progress of the ruins. Our beast tamers of the beast tamer troops triggered the stone statues' reaction when they passed the first 2 trials in the ruins. Therefore, we speculate that there are a total of 6 stages in this ruin. As everyone has seen, our progress is now stuck at the 3rd stage. Although President Feng had already told everyone about this in the car, everyone couldn't help but feel puzzled when they saw the 6 stone statues. If the Beast Tamer Corps in turn Beast Tamer could only pass 2 stages, how many more stages could they themselves overcome? Because they had heard the information about the checkpoints in the car, most of the people present did not even have the confidence to pass the 3 levels. Not to mention the last 3 stages that had no information at all. President Feng smiled and said to everyone, you don't have to feel too much pressure. Every time you pass a level, the ruins will give a certain amount of rewards. This is a very good opportunity to improve yourselves. Besides, this isn't the only opportunity for you to enter. In the next month, you can enter at any time and undergo repeated challenges. The nearby camp is equipped with an infirmary, a resting area, and perfect facilities. After the backup work, it will all be prepared by the Beast Tamer Association of Pingcheng. Your mission is to challenge the checkpoint as much as possible and work hard to become stronger. Tell me, are you confident? President Feng's narrowed eyes suddenly widened as he shouted. This change directly gave many beast trainers a fright, making some people subconsciously reply loudly, yes. Very good. President Feng said. Prepare yourselves a little. After you're ready, you can apply to enter the ruins. Remember what I said in the car. You have to prioritize your own safety. As soon as he finished speaking, the new beast trainers nodded. Nearby, the soldiers guarding the perimeter were silent and expressionless. Although they didn't say anything, they suspected if these beast tamers with different abilities and qualities could really do better than them. In the crowd, Shiyu listened quietly and continued to recuperate. His gaze kept moving across the stone statues. Occasionally he would concentrate, trying to see if he could hear any more sounds of history, but there seemed to be nothing. After observing for a long time, he finally gave up on this behavior. He planned to enter the ruins to take a look. He sighed. He thought he could awaken the Giant of Light at once and let the 6 giants recognize him as their master. Clearly, he was overthinking. I don't know about the latter 3 stages, but maybe I can do the 3rd stage that no one can overcome at the moment. After analyzing it in his heart, Shiyu relaxed. He walked to register and decided to enter the ruins immediately. Not only him, almost all the new beast tamers decided to explore the ruins immediately. Once they passed the ruins trial, they would receive rewards and the honor of representing their strength. Everyone was eager to try such a good thing. I feel that this fellow will definitely obtain pretty good results. He might even have a chance of passing the 3rd round. In the crowd, Chen Kai searched for Shiyu among the students and thought to himself, this monster can definitely pass the 3rd level. Jiang Rui and the others from the Bamboo Stone Dojo also looked at Shiyu's figure. It was said that the 3rd trial in the ruins was an ice armor giant with a growth level of 10th level awakening and a low-class commander rank. The ice armor giant was an elemental transcendent creature. Its strength was not bad, and the few racial skills it had reached the proficient level. Although this kind of strength couldn't be considered very strong for the new generation geniuses in big cities, it was indeed a little pressure for the beast trainers in small places like Pingcheng. Enter. Soon, someone finished registering and walked to the Shining Arenas array. Then, the figure blurred and this person disappeared from the spot. Shiyu didn't waste too much time. He registered and walked onto the stage, landing on the array in the middle of the 6 stone giants. After he went on stage, a few more gazes looked at him, including President Feng of the Pingcheng Association. This person is number 1 on Mount Tuanmang's training. The iron-eating beast has expert level hardening? Lin Hongnian asked me to pay attention to him. He said that he would definitely give me a surprise. I want to see what kind of surprise it will be. As Shiyu's figure disappeared from the stage, President Feng looked in the direction of the snow mountain. It was really a troubled era this year. There was a beast tide earlier, and now ruins. He didn't know if the two were related. This time, apart from the new 80 explorers, the beast tamer soldiers who had entered the beast tamer troops previously would also enter again. The Beast Tamer Association selected a batch of people from among them and focused on nurturing them. Everyone's strength improved temporarily. For the sake of the exploration speed of the ruins, the Beast Tamer Association of Pingcheng had already decided to give it their all. At the same time, stepping onto the stage, under the light, Shiyu, who had decided on the words "Enter the ruins," felt his mind go blank. After completing the 6 trials, you can obtain the ownership of the ruins and the key to history. In his days, Shiyu didn't know if he had heard a new voice. In the next second, he seemed to have undergone stellar transposition and space transformation as he stepped into another space. Shiyu opened his eyes. He was already on a white glacier. It was not large and was surrounded by a spatial crystal wall. Before he could react, countless ice elements gathered in the distance, and a giant-like creature formed. Name: Froststone Giant. Attributes: Ice. Race level: High Transcendent. Race skill: Ice Hammer, Cold Breath. Introduction: a mutation of the Stone Giant, an ice stone elemental creature. Its frozen arm hammer is extremely strong, and the cold breath it spewed can easily freeze everything. The first environment of the ruins was an icy plain space. There was only Shiyu alone. Inside, there was a frost stone giant with a growth level of 8. This was the first trial of the ruins. 11. Beside Shiyu, the little iron-eating beast walked out of the beast-taming space with an excited expression and looked at the enemy. The Panda King roared, "Woo!" Chapter 57, Historical Image. Chapter 57, Historical Image. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. On a large white glacier, Shiyu looked into the distance. 100 meters away, a froststone giant was floating over. Although this creature was called a giant, it didn't look like a person, because it didn't have a lower body. Its main body was like an irregular cylindrical shape, its body was fat like a small mountain. Because it was an elemental creature, it could float at a low altitude. The most eye-catching thing about it was its huge arm that was nearly as tall. This was the main organ used to cast the Ice Hammer skill. This is the first time I'm seeing a Froststone Giant. Shiyu smiled and looked at the one eye that looked like an energy crystal on the other party's huge mouth. He said rather sincerely, "Hello, friend, we're actually not here to fight. We were invited by your big brother Stone to restore the truth of history. Look, there's no need for a fight. Just get whatever reward you have." 11, who was getting ready to fight, was stunned. Not fighting? As expected, 11 was still too young. Why would Shiyu fight something that could be solved with a chat? However, when Shiyu tried to use telepathy to negotiate, the approaching Froststone giant had already launched an attack. It didn't care about virtue. Dozens of meters away, it had already begun to open its mouth and spit cold air. In an instant, a cold aura that looked like a condensed ice mist swept towards Shiyu and the others. A thick layer of ice formed on the glacier land where the icy mist passed. Its performance power was roughly equivalent to a strengthened version of a fire extinguisher. The ice-blue cold air was like a gradually spreading ray. It could be said that it was fortunate that this stone giant's cold breath skill was only at entry level. Not only was its shooting speed slow, but its frost power was also not strong enough. Otherwise, the first stage would be enough to make many people suffer. TCH. I can't communicate with him. 11 directly finished the other party. At the same time that Shiyu took a small step back, he directly issued an order, leaving 11 speechless. They should have done this from the start. 11 looked up and focused. With supervision activated, everything in the outside world seemed to slow down. The range of the cold aura wasn't large, and the powerful area was only a few meters. The energy that spread out was only equivalent to ordinary cold air. 11, with his thick skin, didn't even need to harden before choosing to pass through it head-on. The Froststone giant breathed as it floated closer. 11 also attacked the stone giant like a ferocious beast. When the two parties were about to get close, the threat of the cold breath increased. In the next instant, it easily dodged the high concentration of cold breath nearby with its supervision and circled around the stone giant, not giving the slow stone giant any chance to react. Boom! 11 suddenly pounced over, and only then did the expert-level hardening. He hit the Froststone giant with his palm. Crack! With just one hit, the 3-meter-tall Froststone giant shattered from the hit point, transforming into countless ice elements that disappeared in front of Shiyu and the others. At the same time, a blue energy crystal fell from the Froststone giant's disintegrated body. Moreover, not far away, a bright teleportation array appeared on the glacier ground. As Lucini said, the creatures here are indeed not real life forms, but something similar to elemental clones. Seeing the Froststone giant collapse, Shiyu stood on the spot without moving. He quietly looked at the ice elements in the sky. At the same time, he observed his surroundings and didn't forget his most important goal of entering the ruins. What was this place trying to tell him? In the most widespread story of the Snow Queen in Icefield City, an ice dragon descended nearby and triggered the Little Ice Age. Then, the Beast Tamer tribe, which settled in Icefield City in ancient times, started a war with the Ice Dragon. The icy plain environment in the ruins, is it simulating the environment after the Ice Dragon descended? As he was guessing, Shiyu's mind was in a daze as countless voices entered his ears. Sounds of battle and communication. His brain rumbled, and just like the voice of the stone statue, it triggered the traces of history. At this moment, as the voices interweaved, Shiyu seemed to see brief images. It was an image of a group of young boys and girls in ancient clothes resisting the snow mountain beast tide. The image was very short, and it almost disappeared in a flash. Shiyu returned to his original state and remained silent on the spot. What's this? Shiyu couldn't help but ask. Was that something that happened a long time ago? If Shiyu wasn't wrong, his gift of listening to the voice of history had just taken effect again. He saw the scene of an ancient beast tamer riding a Froststone giant and fighting a group of snow mountain ferocious beasts. Apart from that, there was nothing else. Shiyu fell into deep thought again and deduced from the clues he saw. He simply restored the history of Icefield City according to the current information. A beast tamer tribe lived normally around Icefield City. One day, an ice dragon descended and triggered the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age changed the surrounding environment and affected the normal life of this beast tamer tribe, so this beast tamer tribe decided to attack the ice dragon. However, because the ice dragon was too powerful, this beast tamer tribe could only seal it on the snow mountain with special methods. However, although the ice dragon was successfully sealed, it couldn't change the already formed environment. The beast tamer tribes could only adapt to new environments. Their totem stone giants also began to mutate towards the frost stone giant. At the same time, the number of extraordinary creatures with ice attributes had also greatly increased because of the evolution of the environment. Moreover, due to the influence of the sealed ice dragon, the snow mountain ferocious beasts were very violent and often raised beast tides. Therefore, for the next 100 years, this beast tamer tribe was doing work to resist the beast tide. Until now, the ice dragon ruins and the beast tide still existed, but this beast tamer tribe had already disappeared for various reasons. The ruin before them was a mystic realm modified by a legendary beast tamer who was about to die after the tribe sealed the ice dragon for a long time. This was to train the clansmen. Therefore, the environment in this ruin is inclined towards the icy plane. Is that so? Shiyu looked up, but there was no response. At this moment, 11 picked up the blue energy crystal and ran back. Woo! Spoils of war! 11 was excited. This thing, it had seen and eaten it. In the nutritional meals of the iron-eating beasts in the bamboo stone dojo, energy crystals with both gold and thunder attributes were provided. The so-called energy crystal was formed when the elemental energy concentration reached a certain level. It was a universal resource to strengthen the pet's attributes. However, there were very few of them. The higher the quality, the rarer it was. Although the strengthening effect was more singular than most food, it was better, so it was very expensive. What 11 had eaten was a level 1 energy crystal. And this ice element energy crystal seemed to be also level 1. As expected, the reward is still this? For the time being, he didn't think about whether he had heard or seen the scene just now. Shiyu looked at the energy crystal. It was all right. If it were before, he would definitely be very happy to have picked up an ice element energy crystal. Although the attributes were wrong, if he sold it, he could also exchange it for a lot of iron bamboo. However, the current them did not lack resources of this level at all. However, considering that this was only the first trial, and almost everyone could obtain one, Shiyu was relieved. The rewards later would definitely be better. Forget it. Since there's no response, let's continue challenging the level and see if we can find anything new. Although Shiyu felt that the speculation just now corresponded to many things, the truth was definitely not that simple. The Ice Dragon story might have hidden things, but other aspects might not have changed. After all, this Ice Dragon part of a very widespread historical story had been refuted by the stone statue once before. However, ignoring this place, the background of the ruins might really be a mystic realm for training to resist the beast tide. He sighed. The main thing was that it lacked key information. Shiyu looked at the summoning array not far away and planned to challenge the second trial. But before that, Shiyu took the energy crystal from 11's hand and said, "You can't eat this. You'll get diarrhea. Give it to me. I'll change it into ice cream for you to eat when we get home." 11. Chapter 58, My Nephew Has the Talent of a Master. Chapter 58, My Nephew Has the Talent of a Master. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. The second trial space was still on a glacier. The overall environment was similar to before. This time, the elemental creature that appeared not far from Shiyu and the others was still the previous frost stone giant. However, the other party's energy level was clearly higher. This was a level 10 frost stone giant. Moreover, it had mastered the proficient level Cold Breath and Ice Hammer. Unlike the previous one that had only mastered entry-level skills, it was very difficult to deal with. The ice giant's ice body was harder than steel to begin with. In addition to the long-range Cold Breath and the huge destructive Ice Hammer, the second stage should be the limit for most challengers. Even if the ice giant didn't have intelligence and was slow, there were probably very few who could win. However, this was clearly for ordinary people. To Shiyu and 11, a level 10 Froststone giant was no different from a level 8 Froststone giant. In the face of the stronger stone giant, 11 still used supervision and hardening to defeat it. Compared to the previous one, it might only be the difference between hitting it once and hitting it a few more times. This time, the Froststone giant also dropped energy crystals. In terms of quality, it seemed to be higher than the previous one. It was a level 2 energy crystal that could be sold for more money. 1. Is my historical talent useless this time? After changing the environment, Shiyu tried to transform into a historical listener again. Unfortunately, the same scene didn't appear. Forget it, forget it. Let's continue challenging the levels. We'll talk about the truth of history later. Let's charge through a few more levels to get the rewards. If it was said that a level 1 energy crystal was nothing, but a level 2 energy crystal, depending on the quality, was at least worth 6 digits. Shiyu began to taste the benefits and planned to see what treasures were in the third round. No one has passed the third level yet. I wonder what will drop. It won't be an energy crystal, right? Although this thing's value was indeed high among resources of the same level, what he wanted was rare resources. It would be best if it was something that couldn't be bought in the outside world. Things that were priceless, such as space and time types. This way, the evolution form of the green silkworm would be extremely unique. If the next rewards are also ice element resources. Unless the green silkworm evolves into the ice crystal phoenix butterfly, there's no need for these. I'm still limited in my thinking. The ice phoenix moth is also an ice element type. However, even if it was the ice phoenix moth or the ice dragon butterfly, Shiyu still felt that it was lacking, so he continued forward. It was still the familiar glacial environment, but this time, the one in front of them wasn't the Froststone giant. Under the condensation of the ice element, a humanoid figure with hands, feet, and head appeared. Apart from its form resembling a human, it didn't look like a human anywhere else. It was as if an ice-armored giant wearing ice armor had appeared. Name: Ice-armored giant. Attributes: Ice. Race level: low-level commander. Race skill: Ice Hammer, Ice Armor, Ice Regeneration. Introduction: it has an invincible and extremely high defense. Its whole body is filled with ice that won't melt. Even if its body is broken, it can recover to its original state by consuming energy. In the distance, as the 3-meter-tall ice-armored giant appeared, Shiyu and 11 felt a sense of pressure. This guy would probably be very difficult to deal with. Woo! 11 subconsciously released its deterrent skill to increase its battle intent. According to the information provided, the 3 skills of the ice-armored giant were all proficient level. Although its growth level was only level 10, the Beast Tamer trainee Beast Tamer of the Beast Troops was completely not its match. This was also normal. In other words, even if it was a level 10 iron-eating beast that had mastered expert level hardening, it might not necessarily be able to deal with this thing. Firstly, its defense was not easy to break. Even if it did, it could quickly regenerate. There were only 2 ways to defeat it: consuming the other party's energy, or instantly causing a huge wound that made it unable to regenerate. Fortunately, there was still some restriction on the proficient level ice regeneration. This was the first time Shiyu and 11 were fighting a commander rank creature. The other party's racial skills were much stronger than transcendent creatures. Shiyu was still very envious of this ice regeneration. If the worm evolved into an ice element, this was a very good combination. However, he didn't know if the skills here could be replicated. 11. With a shout from Shiyu, 11's body hardened on the glacier and slowly approached his opponent. On the other side, the ice-armored giant made a running posture. Its whole body, covered in ice armor, approached and hit 11. No, to be precise, after approaching, it instantly swung its huge arm and used the ice hammer. With its invincible and high defense, the ice armor skill covered its entire body again, plus a layer of frost covered by the ice hammer. The Ice Armor Giant's arm was equivalent to folding 3 layers of buffs, containing dense power. Bang! The Ice Armor Giant's arm hammer hit the ground, and the glacier instantly shattered into pieces, ice shards flying everywhere. As for 11, with the help of its supervision, rolled to the other side and used expert-level hardening to smash at the leg of the Ice Armor Giant. Click! The ice armor slightly caved in and shattered. Although the defense was broken, it wasn't completely broken. Because the surrounding ice elements gathered, the damage to its body immediately recovered. The Ice Armor Giant raised its leg and kicked after taking this punch. 11 was shocked. He had finally encountered a decent opponent. As for Xiyu, he felt that the other party was ridiculously strong. Moreover, the accompanying move was even more shameless than 11. It was more difficult than he imagined. Shrink! Xiyu instantly gave the order. The Ice Armor Giant casually kicked. As the distance was too close, it was difficult for 11 to react even with supervision. Fortunately, Shiyu's command was timely. 11 relied on shrinking to let the Ice Armor Giant miss. Multiplication, hardening, Thunder Palm. Xiyu gave the order again, intending to end the battle quickly. In the next moment, the originally half-a-meter large 11's volume immediately increased, reaching a height of more than 2 meters. Although it was still 1 meter away from the Ice Armor Giant, the difference in size was not as big as before. Woo! After transforming, its strength increased greatly, and a huge aura erupted. It immediately launched a counterattack. Its palm hardened, and then a shocking blue and white light spread on its palm. It was a combination skill of expert-level hardening and expert-level Thunder Palm. There was also a multiplication skill in effect. Multiplication was simply a combination of all-purpose skills. It was very compatible with most skills. 11's hardened Thunder Palm pierced through the Ice Armor Giant's abdomen. However, the Ice Armor Giant's reaction was not slow at all as it continued to smash the ice hammer. Boom! In the next second, 11's hardened Thunder Palm directly penetrated the Ice Armor Giant's body, causing a hole to appear in its abdomen. It was very difficult for it to recover from such an injury. However, although 11 was a one-punch panda, 11 was also hit by the ice hammer at the same time. The other party was so strong and had a level suppression on top of that. Even if it was expert-level hardening, it couldn't completely resist. 11 was sent flying immediately, causing 11's hardening to disappear. At the same time, it returned to its normal state and rolled on the ground a few times before recovering. Woo woo woo! On the ground of the glacier, 11 hurriedly crawled up despite the pain and injuries and looked at the opponent who was gradually starting to collapse from the abdomen. Well, it had already disappeared. Yes, it won. 11. At this moment, looking at 11's performance, Xiyu spoke. Real men don't look back at the explosion. The first choice you should have made just now was to use high-speed healing to treat your injuries. Or, if it's a formal battle, you can pretend to faint and take the opportunity to use absolute sleep and give a good performance. I'll remind you if there is a change in the enemy's state. 11 nodded crazily. Understood. I'll replenish my energy first. Xiyu didn't care what the Ice Armor Giant dropped and hurriedly dragged his backpack to 11. He took out an energy crystal from his backpack and fed it to 11 while falling into deep thought. It had defeated his opponent, but the process was a little more difficult than he had imagined. If not for the multiplication, hardening, and Thunder Palm, it would probably be very difficult to instantly kill this guy. Since they couldn't insta-kill him, the two parties could only fight a battle of attrition. 11, whose physical fitness was low, would definitely fall into a disadvantage. Although the other party was 3 levels higher than 11, this was only a low-class commander rank creature whose skill proficiency hadn't reached expert level. He felt that he had been a little arrogant when he said that 11's battle power could match a young monarch-level creature of the same level. It's not a big problem. 11 still has room for improvement. At the same time, in the outside world, most of the beast tamers in this batch had already entered. One by one, professional beast tamer officers predicted the situation. Do you think anyone has a chance of defeating that ice-armored giant this time? It's difficult. The pets of our beast tamers in Ping Cheng are basically at the transcendent level. They can't compare to commander-level pets at all. Under the same growth level, the higher the race level, the stronger the overall battle power. This was already common knowledge. With the difference in race, the hope of victory might lie in the restraint of attributes, skill restraint, and skill proficiency. Also, beast tamers could also bring some recovery pills in. Defeating the opponent with pills was also a kind of strategy. At the edge of the camp not far from the arena, President Feng of the Beast Tamer Association of Ping Cheng looked at the 6 stone statues and said, "Everyone has already entered. In about an hour, maybe we will know that no one can pass the 3rd level. President, I remember that one of the challengers is your nephew, right?" The President's secretary stood beside him and hugged the folder. President Feng narrowed his eyes and smiled. "Yes, he's studying in the city and specially rushed back for the ruins. That nephew of mine has pretty good talent and the aptitude of a master. He's also very prepared for this challenge. He can definitely break through the 3rd level. He's also someone I have my eyes on." Just as the President finished speaking, with a buzz, the 3rd of the 6 stone giant statues suddenly lit up. This change stunned the beast tamers in the surrounding camps. What happened? Someone had already passed the 3rd trial? However, less than 20 minutes had passed since the earliest beast tamer entered today. Who was this fierce beast tamer? Chapter 59, New Record. Chapter 59, New Record. President? As the 3rd stone giant statue lit up, the secretary looked at the president of the association. The record was broken? President Feng was slightly stunned. The 3rd trial that the Beast Tamer trainees of the Beast Tamer troops had not overcome for so long was defeated in less than half an hour after this batch of Beast Tamers entered. Should he consider increasing the training volume of the Beast Tamer Corps? At this moment, He Biao, the deputy commander of the Beast Tamer troop stationed in this place, also walked out of the camp with a whoosh and walked to President Feng and the others. "What's going on?" he shouted. "It's obvious. Among the beast tamers I brought over, someone has already overcome the 3rd trial. The standard of our army really needs to be improved. F*ck this. You guys are just spouting nonsense. Why don't you pay up to train them?" He Biao, the deputy regiment commander, spat. "You want a good horse, but you don't feed it grass. How can there be such a good thing?" The president's secretary was silent beside him. She was already used to it. These two were life-and-death friends. They had a life-and-death relationship during the Beast Tide 10 years ago and had a very good relationship. It was common for them to talk and fight. President Feng fell silent. He also wanted to pay more. Wasn't Ping Cheng poor? It wasn't his fault. "President, who could it be? Could it be your nephew?" The 2nd stage, Level 10 Froststone Giant. The 3rd stage, Level 10 Ice-Armored Giant. President Feng narrowed his eyes and shook his head. "I know my nephew's strength. He has very good talent. Perhaps he can pass, but he definitely won't pass so quickly. There must be someone else." He had trained his nephew before coming, so he knew very well. The president's secretary coughed dryly and said, "What if? Maybe your nephew performed extraordinarily this time." "Impossible. If it's him, I'll eat." "What will you eat? Fried green silkworm?" He Biao looked at him. "Freeloading meals again?" I said, "I'll still doubt it." Chairman Feng straightened his clothes. "However, who could it be? The 3 beast tamers who ranked first in the 3 assessment rankings, or the beast tamers recommended by the various dojos?" For a moment, President Feng couldn't make a judgment. He looked in the direction of the stone statue with a deep gaze, curious if the 4th stone could light up. Back in the ruins, in the 3rd trial space, Shiyu picked up the translucent stone in the shape of a pebble that the ice-armored giant had dropped and fell into deep thought. It wasn't an energy crystal anymore. Not bad, not bad. But what was this? Woo! 11, who was beside him, also looked confused. This thing. It had never seen or eaten it. My cell phone can't be connected to the internet here. I can't check. This? Shiyu was not in a good mood. The award should have been exciting and tense, but in the end, it was something he didn't know. This was uncomfortable. Forget it, I'll put it away first. I'll find out after I go out. Shiyu placed the transparent stone in his backpack and looked around. He sensed the environment through telepathy. All right. Apart from the first trial space reacting, there was no reaction from the second and third trials. He continued. Why don't you sleep on the spot for 10 minutes before we continue the next round? Shiyu looked at 11 and suspected its condition. After all, the ice-armored giant's hammer just now directly sent 11 flying. After adjusting its state, the next stage would have a higher success rate. Only then could he better investigate the truth of history. It didn't matter if the reward was there or not. The main reason was that he didn't want history to be hidden. That doesn't seem to be what I said in the previous stage. Forget it, the meaning is similar anyway. Woo! In order to not get beaten up in the next round, 11 nodded obediently. Its concept was very simple. It could get injured during its training, but not during battle. That would make it seem like its training was for nothing, after all. Then, 11 became smaller, slept, and quickly recovered. After another delay, they stepped into the teleportation array of the fourth trial. Has the environment changed? Just as he opened his eyes, Shiyu realized that he was already on a certain mountain in a snow mountain environment. 11 was beside Shiyu. They looked down and saw a snowstorm coming from below. Under the gathering of countless ice elements, a wolf-shaped creature gradually formed. Name, Snow Wolf. Attributes, Ice. Race level, High Transcendent. Race skill, Ice Crushing Fang, Ice Splitting Claw, Cold Breath, Snow Concealment. Whoa, it was an old friend. Seeing that it wasn't the stone giants this time, but the Snow Wolf, Shiyu was immediately intrigued. 11 was also eager to give it a try. However, soon, Shiyu and 11's expressions collapsed. Even 11, who hoped to test the results of the training through battle, showed a difficult expression. Because, under the gathering of the ice elements, the Snow Wolf was only the first creature to appear. At the next moment, 9 more Snow Wolves formed. Right on the heels of that, 10 of the wild boars living in the Snow Mountain, mid-level transcendent ice fang boars, appeared. Then, another 10 ice-armored beast, 10 ice-scaled snakes, and 10 snow apes appeared. The Snow Mountain where Shiyu was this time was very large. They were scattered everywhere, but Shiyu and 11 could see everything clearly on the mountain. There were a total of 50 creatures. Don't tell them that the fourth stage was to defeat all the creatures in front of them. Shiyu? Was this place a sore loser? What was this unfair wave of beasts? 11 underscore. 11 also felt 100 million pressure. If the fourth level was already like this, how was he to fight the fifth level? Fortunately, unlike the first 3 levels, the aggro of these ferocious beasts was not on Shiyu and the others at the moment. They had ample time to develop strategies and think about how to clear the level. I miscalculated. Shiyu was filled with hatred as he stood on the Snow Mountain peak. He observed carefully and discovered that fortunately, these ferocious beasts' growth levels didn't seem to be high. They didn't reach level 10. But even so, the difficulty completely exceeded the previous round. Shiyu hated it. Why didn't he teach deterrence to expert level previously? Otherwise, at this moment, 11's expert level deterrence might directly defeat 50 ferocious beasts in an instant. It was fine even if it was the multiplication point that was at the expert level. When the time came, 11, who was dozens of meters tall, would crush them with a stomp. Unlike now, where it was neither right nor wrong to fight. Why don't we go out and develop for another half a month before coming back? Shiyu suggested. C.A.U. 11 took a step forward. No, it was already here. It'll try before going back. The iron-eating beast was fearless. Do you want to fight? It wasn't that Xiu felt that he couldn't fight, but with its current strength, even if it passed, it would be very difficult. Their numbers are huge. Even if they attack together, it won't be that easy to cooperate. Your whole body should be covered constantly with hardening. They basically can't break through your defense. What's tested is your physical fitness. In this aspect, you have absolute sleep and the shrinking ability to deal with it. It's not like there's no hope of clearing it. Xiu slowly analyzed and said, "Wanna try?" 11 nodded. Soon, 11 skied down the mountain, rolling like a ball. Woo! It was a life-risking fight. This was a rather tragic battle no matter how it looked at it. It would kill a bunch of them with its steel rolling tank move first. In the outside world, it had been a long time since the third stone statue lit up. At this moment, more and more people came out. In the ruins, as long as the beast tamer put the pet back into the beast taming space and confirmed that exit with his mind, he could easily return. Because of this, as long as beast tamers didn't court death too much, there usually wasn't much danger. Chen Kai. 1 stage. After coming out, the beast tamers had to accept the soldiers' questions and register their battle results. Chen Kai, who was a top student, felt very uncomfortable. He had only passed 1 level. Most of the people present only passed 1 round. The Frost Stone Giant in the second stage was already very difficult to deal with, let alone the third stage. Thinking about it, it made sense. The ruin space might be used by a powerful beast tamer tribe that could seal super creatures like dragons for their young clansmen to train. In terms of difficulty, definitely not everyone could pass it easily. No matter what, Pingcheng was only a third-rate small city. White Stone, Level 2. Xiao Liang, Level 2. Jiang Rui, Level 2. These people had all defeated the Level 10 Frost Stone Giant but were beaten up by the Ice Armored Giant. Originally, when everyone had this battle result, it was nothing. However, when the people who came out realized that the third stone statue was bright, their minds immediately went blank. Holy shit, someone defeated that ice-armored giant? The third stone statue lit up, which meant that someone had already passed the third level. Well, who passed the third round? A beast tamer asked the soldier who registered for him. The soldier beast tamer glanced at him and shook his head. How would I know? He hasn't come out yet. The third stone statue lit up half an hour ago. That person is probably challenging the 4th level now. F*CK, the beast tamers who came out collectively cracked. He defeated the ice-armored giant more than half an hour ago? This person. Was he really human? The beast tamers came out one after another. Then, even the 2 that got first place in the other 2 professional assessments came out. They also couldn't pass the third round. This couldn't help but disappoint President Feng, He Biao, and the others, who were all waiting. Chen Gong, the third stage. However, at this moment, as a beast tamer with a poor expression came out, he immediately attracted everyone's attention when he registered. You passed the third level? The registered staff looked at the pale-faced beast tamer in front of him and asked. Chen Gong looked at the third stone statue that lit up, as well as the shocked gazes of the surrounding people, and his heart was immediately filled with satisfaction. Although he was defeated in the 4th round, he had at least broken the record. He didn't embarrass old Feng, did he? He looked for President Feng. Brother, you're awesome. The soldier couldn't help but give him a thumbs up and say, you cleared 3 levels in 10+ minutes. Impressive. But why did it take so long to come out? Is the 4th level very difficult? Speaking of which, what's the 4th level? The 4th level isn't something that trainee beast tamers can pass at all. Chen Gong couldn't help but grumble, but suddenly, he felt that something was wrong. When did he clear the 3rd level in 10 minutes? The 3rd level clearly took a long time. He was rather confused. At this moment, the 4th stone statue lit up with a hum. Everyone turned their heads in confusion. They were first stunned, then shocked. The fourth stone statue lit up too. Everyone naturally knew what this meant. Outside a certain camp, President Feng was also shocked. The fourth level, was it really cleared? He roughly knew who it was. Lin Hong was an old thief. What was wrong with this Shi Yu? At the same time that the president's secretary and deputy regiment commander were shocked, they looked at the register near the stage. It really wasn't President Feng's nephew? At the same time. At the moment, the only top student in the city who had seen the difficulty of the fourth level, Chen Gong, was confused. This? How is this possible? How can a person clear the fourth level? 1 vs 50. Chapter 60, Ethereal Stone. Chapter 60, Ethereal Stone. At this moment, although Chen Gong said that he had passed the third stage, everyone present wasn't stupid. Through the changes in the stone statue, they could also know that the first to break the record was someone else. As for the nephew of the Ping Cheng Association's president, Chen Gong, he fell into deep thought. At this moment, President Feng and He Biao walked over. Chen Gong, what's the fourth level? You passed the first 3 levels. You should have seen the situation of the fourth level, right? President Feng went straight to the point. The surrounding beast tamers and soldiers also pricked up their ears. Yes, the third level was already so difficult, so what kind of monster was the fourth level? The fourth level, Chen Gong took a deep breath and said, that's a new snow mountain environment. Compared to the icy plains and glacier of the first 3 levels, the range is larger. The moment I entered, this trial space formed 50 snow mountain ferocious beasts, 10 snow wolves, 10 ice-armored beast, 10 ice-fang boars, 10 ice-scaled snakes, and 10 snow apes. In terms of growth, there shouldn't be any lower than level 7, and their skill proficiency isn't low. I originally wanted my Moonflame beast to give it a try, but there was no breakthrough. Silence fell. Damn, 50? A moment later, He Biao, the deputy commander of the Beast Tamer Corps in Ping Cheng, widened his eyes. The first 3 levels were all one opponent. Why did it suddenly increase so much in the fourth level? This was almost comparable to a small-scale beast tide. The other beast tamers who didn't even pass the second and third rounds also felt that the fourth round's difficulty was very ridiculous. How could he achieve 1 vs 50 when entry was restricted to the level of a beast tamer trainee? Eh? Everyone suddenly realized something and looked at the fourth stone statue that lit up. Everyone was silent for a moment. It seemed like someone had gotten through, right? Who was it? All right, you've done very well. There's still a chance next time. President Feng encouraged his nephew and turned to the record player. Look at how many people haven't come out yet. Yes. The record register immediately compared the information, which was just a few seconds. He said, currently, there seems to be 1 person left. No one expected the case to be solved so quickly. Indeed, regardless of whether he could pass the first 3 levels, 1 vs 1 wouldn't take too much time. But if he wanted to pass the fourth level, he would definitely have to spend a lot of time. It was normal for only this person to be left in the end. Who is it? Although he already knew who it was, President Feng subconsciously wanted to confirm it. At the same time, in the crowd, the beast tamers also tried their best to look around to see who was missing. At that moment, Chen Kai, Jiang Rui, Qiao Liang, and the others looked a little strange. They kept searching, but they still didn't find anything. Damn! No way! Shi Yu, his name is Shi Yu. Coincidentally, just as the record holder finished speaking, light flashed again on the teleportation array in the center of the 6 stone statues. Someone else came out of the ruins. A young man in a dark blue adventure suit with a backpack casually hanging on his shoulder walked out with an unhappy expression. Shi Yu really wanted to communicate with the broken stone statue for 100 rounds. The fourth level was so difficult. Though, it wasn't that he and 11 couldn't pass with all their trump cards. In fact, it also proved that although the process was very difficult, they finally succeeded. It was doable. However, Shi Yu only took a glance at the 5th level and found it boring. This was not prepared for ordinary beast tamers at all. In the 5th level, there were a total of 100 ferocious beasts. The number of them increased, the types increased, and their growth levels were higher overall. There were even level 10 ferocious beasts. Although there were no commander-level ferocious beasts, just defeating 50 alone was enough to exhaust 11. Shiyu didn't think they could pass this level, so he directly withdrew. Well, they would definitely come back. When the day came when they mastered deterrence, they would definitely avenge their previous humiliation. Eh? When Shiyu's mind was active, he realized that many gazes from the outside world were on him. Shiyu felt creeped out by so many strange gazes. You Shiyu? The record register closest to the platform's teleportation array asked. I am. Is there a problem? You passed the 3rd and 4th levels? Yes. There was no need to hide such a thing. Shiyu nodded. He looked in the direction of the stone statue. As expected, only 2 stone statues had lit up previously, but now, there were 4. This. Beside him, as Shiyu nodded in confirmation, Chen Gong, who was the only one who had experienced the pressure of the 4th level, found it unbelievable. He really couldn't imagine how a beast tamer in turn could get 1 vs 50. Even more ridiculous than Chen Gong were the few people who were familiar with Shiyu. Chen Kai, Whitestone, Jiang Rui, and the others opened their mouths slightly and felt that it was unbelievable. Although Shiyu was indeed very strong, that little metal-eating beast didn't seem to have a high level of growth. It was still very far from level 10. If his growth level was not high, it meant that his physical fitness was limited. How did he pass the 4th level? They didn't know that 11 had the ability to shrink and kite opponents, recover physical fitness, and absolute sleep. It could use the shortcomings of these non-living ferocious beasts with low intelligence to rest for a short period of time. F*CK? However, the one who felt the most incredulous was still the young doctor, Qiao Liang. In his impression, Shiyu was a weak but slightly hard-working newbie. How could he be a big boss who broke the full levels in a row? Well done! At this moment, although he didn't know how Shiyu had cleared the level, new progress in cracking the ruins was good news. President Feng looked at Shiyu with a smile and said, "You're an apprentice of Bamboo Stone Dojo, right? Hall Master Lin actually mentioned you to me before. He said you would give me a surprise. But I didn't expect it to be such a big surprise. Young heroes emerge." President Feng clapped and said, "Can you tell me the situation of the 5th level?" Hall Master Lin Hongnian even mentioned him to the president of the Ping Cheng Association. Shiyu was stunned before saying, "The 4th level is 50 ice element ferocious beasts whose growth levels are between 7 to 9. The 5th level is 100 ice element ferocious beasts whose growth levels are between 8 to 10. Their race levels are all at the transcendent level, and their skill proficiency is uncertain. As the 5th level is a little difficult, we only took a look and left. We didn't challenge deeper." After Shiyu finished speaking, the surrounding people suffocated again. The 4th level was already sick enough. Would someone really be able to pass the 5th level? President Feng was also silent for a moment. Then, he looked at everyone and said, "Since everyone has already entered the ruins once, I have news to announce to everyone. In the next month, the Ping Cheng Association will take out a sum of resources to increase everyone's strength. Anyone who can pass 2 rounds can receive pet training resources. The resources increase with each round you can pass. In order to accelerate the cracking progress of this ruin, no matter how poor the Ping Cheng Association was, they couldn't afford to not nurture their challengers. Otherwise, there would really be zero progress. Today, everyone can rest. Those whose pets are injured, remember to go to the infirmary to recover." Chen Gong'an. "Shiyu, right? Do you need to go to the infirmary? Come with me later." President Feng called out to the 2 beast tamers who had passed the 3rd round. In the beast taming space, although the pet's injuries would generally recover slowly and stop worsening, the healing effect was still the best. "All right." Chen Gong nodded. "There's no need for me. My pet isn't injured," Shiyu said. 11 recovered on its own as it fought. It lacked physical fitness and was currently sleeping in the beast taming space to recover. Everyone was stunned. What was this person saying? Chen Gong, who was beside him, felt emotional pain. He opened his mouth again. This guy was telling him that after doing a battle 1 vs 50, he wasn't injured? Who? I see. Then you, follow me first. The corners of President Feng's mouth twitched. It was already lucky enough that Bamboo Stone Dojo had nurtured an 18-year-old professional beast tamer, Lin Xiaoju. What was with this Xiaoyu? In any case, President Feng couldn't understand the information at all. Then, under the silent gazes of everyone, Xiaoyu followed President Feng into the camp. Vice Commander He Biao also followed. Little brother, you really passed the 4th round? I just took a look at your pet information. How can that be? By the way, I'm the Deputy Commander of the Beast Tamer Corps in Pingcheng. My surname is He. He didn't understand. It wasn't just him who didn't understand. President Feng also had many questions. At this moment, Xiaoyu directly took out the reward for passing the 3rd round, the Transparent Stone. And the reward for passing the 4th level, Transparent Stone X3. The rewards for the 2 stages were the same, but there was a difference in the number. President Feng, Commander He, these are the items I obtained when I passed the 3rd and 4th levels. What's this? A pet cultivation resource? Xiaoyu took out the clearing reward, and the two of them immediately turned their attention to it. President Feng was stunned when he saw it. Ethereal Spirit Stone? The rewards for the 3rd and 4th levels aren't energy crystals anymore, but ethereal stones. He Biao was rather shocked. That Ethereal Spirit Stone is? Xiaoyu had never heard of such a resource. F*CK, you made a killing. This is a rare spatial resource. He Biao said roughly. It's a resource even rarer than energy crystals. You can't buy it even if you have money. There are very few of them. Ordinary people can't come into contact with them at all. This is indeed a ruin. The Mystic Realm spaces like to produce it. Spatial resources? Xiaoyu was stunned as he looked at the 4 transparent rocks in his hand. Holy shit, this was the evolution ingredient he was looking for? A rare attribute? Buggy, 11, and him were really going all out for it this time. Yes, spatial resources are also resources that all beast tamers dream of. Using this stone can accelerate the leveling of the beast taming space. President Feng nodded and said, this is a good thing to increase the level of beast tamers. This can be used to strengthen the beast taming space? Xiaoyu was stunned again as he asked. Both of them nodded. Well, Xiaoyu looked at the rock again. It was all right then. He wanted to see if there were better resources for Buggy in the later stages. The spatial element was too low for it. As a beast tamer, he used these stones reluctantly. From the looks of it, Chen Gong should have also obtained the Ethereal Spirit Stone. Not bad, with this, your beast taming space can be raised to level 2 earlier and contract a second pet. President Feng nodded, but soon, his expression changed. Wait, Xiaoyu, when you go back, don't work hard to increase the level of the beast taming space. This ruin can only be suitable for trainee beast tamers for the time being. I understand. Xiaoyu nodded, indicating that he understood. He wouldn't level up so quickly. As long as the beast taming space's level reached the standard before the vocation assessment, that would be enough. With this, he had an idea. 11's leveling speed shouldn't be too fast, or he might go above the entry requirement and be unable to enter. At the same time, Chen Gong's treatment speed was fast. In just 2 minutes, he arrived. This was normal. The military doctors stationed nearby were all professional beast tamers. Treating an awakening stage pet was just a skill. Even if it was a bunch of injured pets, a group healing skill would be enough. President, Regiment Commander He. Chen Gong didn't want to show his relationship with President Feng outside. This would make it seem like his success was dependent on his family background, not his own hard work. Chen Gong, what's your reward for the 3rd level? President Feng looked at Chen Gong. It's an ethereal spirit stone. Chen Gong immediately took out a transparent stone, just like Shi Yu's. President Feng and Commander He looked at each other and nodded. President Feng said, "You guys keep your spoils of war. This is what you deserve. In this challenge of the ruins, only 2 of you passed the 3rd level. Chen Gong, you passed 3 levels. Shi Yu, you passed 4 levels. Your performance was very good. You heard it just now. Next, the association will draw out a sum of money to increase your strength. Your performance this time is the most outstanding. The association will definitely give priority to nurturing you. With a certain amount, you can feel free to ask for anything." President Feng had already placed his hopes on the 2 of them. As for the beast tamers outside, they could only be cultivated along the way. Giving some resources to let them gain more growth in the ruins and nurturing more professional beast tamers for Ping Cheng was not a loss. As for the main force, it would definitely be Shi Yu and Chen Gong. All right. Chen Gong was clearly mentally prepared for this. He immediately nodded. As for Shi Yu, who was beside him, he fell into deep thought. Was there such a good thing? As for needs, at his level, money was indeed better. The rest were all fancy fluff. By the way, you don't know each other yet, right? Let me introduce you. This is Chen Gong from Ping Cheng, but he goes to school in the city. Shi Yu, an apprentice from Bamboo Stone Dojo, you seem to have studied in the city previously? President Feng tried hard to recall Shi Yu's information. Well, Icefield High, feeding specialization, Shi Yu introduced himself. Chen Gong and Commander He? The 2 of them looked at Shi Yu. This guy defeated the commander-level ice-armored giant and succeeded in 1 vs 50. And now he dared to start telling them that he was from the feeding specialization? Don't tell them that after Shi Yu entered the ruins, he used the method of feeding to make those ferocious beasts surrender directly. After Chen Gong's eyelids twitched, he reached out to Shi Yu and said, "Hello. To be able to pass the 4th level, you're very impressive. I have a presumptuous request. Can we have a battle after our pets recover?" Because he was too curious about Shi Yu's strength and how he cleared the level, Chen Gong couldn't help but challenge him. Beside him, guild leader Feng was stunned, though there was no need to stop him. His nephew was born to be a strong person. After being defeated this time, it was normal for him to be unhappy and want to see the difference. At the same time, as the president of the Ping Cheng Association, he had no idea what was going on with Shi Yu. He also wanted to see Shi Yu's strength. The situation inside the ruins couldn't be seen, but the battle outside could at least be seen, right? Chen Gong's active challenge was an opportunity. Battle? Shi Yu also extended his hand and shook the other party's hand. Apart from himself, the other party was the only one who defeated the ice-armored giant. He probably wasn't weak. All right. Shi Yu didn't refuse. Beast tamers needed to spar with each other to improve.